me know if you hear me here in the chat. I am trying to get a signal, but I would have to sit in the sun to get the best signal. So I'm just checking to see how this one is. You can see the NCO Primo behind me. I don't know if you can see that right there, but let me know in the chat if I'm coming in good audio wise. And this is always a Q&A session, so if you have a question, make sure you type the words question in front of it in all caps, and I'll easily be able to figure out questions. But I'm doing this on my phone, so the live chat moves pretty quickly, and so if I miss your question, it's not intentional. Just ask it again, and I'll try to answer it. But yeah, so I'm on MSC Meraviglia. I've been on here for, I guess, 7 days. We are in Orlando right now doing a turnover. So I didn't realize this. I booked an 11-day cruise, but I guess it's 2 cruises. Like it's one 7-day and one 4-day. And so, we had to get off the ship today. They clear everybody off the ship. And then those who are doing the back-to-back cruises get to come back on. And so that's what I did today so far. MSC is not as organized as Princess was. If you guys are new to me, my background is I'm cruising on nothing but cruise ships for a year. I just started a month ago, and I've been on nothing but Princess until I got to MSC Meraviglia. After this cruise, I head up to Baltimore and I hop on a Royal Caribbean ship, Enchantment of the Seas. So my experience base is Princess and MSC now. And so those are the things I'll be comparing if you're asking me to compare cruises. Definitely on turnaround day, Princess wins the prize there. They're much more efficient. They have it much more under control and down. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, I would appreciate it. Helps more people find this live stream, gets more people in here, gets more questions, and maybe it'll answer your question. Which country and city am I at? Asks Kevin. I am in the United States at Port Canaveral, which is a cruise port out of Florida. There's 3 major ones, actually 4 major ones: Tampa, Port Canaveral, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. So yeah. All right, first question here from Home on the Hitch. Do you leave all your stuff on the boat while you turn around the Enchantment? We did our honeymoon on Enchantment of the Seas, very cool. If you guys haven't checked out Home on a Hitch, make sure you check them out. At some point, I'm going to be on their channel doing an interview. So it depends on how you're booked on a ship. So if you're booked in the same cabin, which I am on this ship, I booked 11 days. I guess it's one 7-day cruise, one 4-day cruise, but it's all in the same cabin. So I don't have to move anything. I don't have to take anything with me. The only thing I really need when I leave the ship is my cruise card and my passport. Although you normally don't even use your passport anymore, but they still make you bring it. Now they have all that facial recognition stuff that immigration does, and it's super efficient and you move through really quickly. If you book back-to-back cruises where you have to change cabins, then it's a little bit more challenging because you've got to get your stuff moved from one cabin to another. So I've only done that on Princess so far, and they just let me keep all my stuff on hangers, and they moved my stuff on hangers over to my new closet in my new stateroom, and I packed everything else up in my suitcase, and they moved my suitcase over there. Everything was waiting for me when I got to the new cabin, and so that was pretty easy, relatively easy to do. So great question. Hey, Andrea's in the house. What's going on, Andrea? Have I done an Antarctic cruise? No, but I am looking at possibly doing an Antarctic cruise with either Princess or Holland America. I know Let's Go Travel Tips is organizing a group Antarctic trip. I'm pretty sure on Princess, and I might try to jump on that one. I love, Let's Go Travel Tips. They're great. They've allowed me to post things for my channel on their Facebook page, which has gotten me a decent-sized cruise audience. And so nothing but love for Let's Go Travel Tips. Make sure you check them out if you haven't, especially if you're in their Princess content. But they do more than Princess stuff. But they're real. They have a lot of expertise on Princess. Okay, next question from Kathy asks, if I have ever visited Lisbon, Portugal, what is one thing you recommend everyone do? So I lived in Lisbon for a month, And I would say, oh, what would I do in Lisbon? I mean, eat. There's Portuguese food is so good. Like, go on Airbnb and find a food tour that takes you around to different spots in Lisbon and introduces you to a bunch of different Portuguese cuisine. That would be my recommendation. Go on Airbnb and book a food tour. I was going to jump right into talking about MSC, but I'm getting a bunch of questions, so I'll try to answer those. How long are you planning to travel by cruise? So at least a year. It'll probably end up being more than a year, I think, because there's some places I want to go that I wouldn't be able to fit into 1 year. So it might be a little bit over a year. I'm loving the cruise travel, so who knows? Maybe I'll do it for the rest of my life and I'll die on a cruise ship. But maybe in a month I'll feel like, well, that's not true. I'll at least do cruising for a year. But maybe I'll feel like traveling in an RV again and I'll get an RV. I just kind of go with the flow. Eric says, this is my first live chat ever. Enjoying the videos on the Thailand series now. Great content. I appreciate that, Eric. What ship am I on currently? I am currently on MSC Meraviglia. I've been on here for a week now. Someone said, how's the food? So, my mother always told me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. The food is okay. The pizza's great. It's phenomenal, actually. The main dining room food is okay. I don't eat there very often. The specialty restaurants are great. I've eaten at the sushi one and I've eaten at the Mexican one, Hola Tacos, and the tacos were phenomenal. If you follow my Instagram channel, you saw those tacos. They were really good. Reminded me of tacos I got in Mexico. I got some al pastor. I got some, chicken tacos. I got pineapple tacos. It was really good. It's all soft tacos. So it was great. But I only have 2 cruise lines to compare because I've only used 2 cruise lines so far during this journey. And I would say Princess food wins out on the food front. The cappuccinos are phenomenal, though. Andrew just mentioned the cappuccinos. They are really good, way better than Princess. They know how to make a coffee on here. I mean, it's an Italian cruise line, but I think it has more to do with the equipment. They just have that really good cappuccino, the really good cappuccino machines. I would recommend going to the chocolate restaurant to get your cappuccino because they have the really, really, really good cappuccino machine, and their cappuccinos are actually better than the cappuccinos that are really good in all the other spots. They have the really, really good cappuccino machine. And they have white chocolate mochas there too, by the way. What's a notable difference between Princess and MSC? So I would say the Princess experience. So the medallion, you don't, I've only done, I only did Princess before this one, and I didn't realize how amazing the medallion technology is as far as getting on and off the ship, as far as ordering food, and all the other things you can do on a medallion class ship. I really took it for granted, and to me that's part of the Princess experience, being able to wake up first thing in the morning, jump on my phone, order a butter pecan latte, and it's in my cabin in 5 to 10 minutes. Can't really do that on MSC. I got to get my butt up, throw some clothes on, go down, get it. The cappuccino place doesn't open. The one I like doesn't open till 7, and so it's a little bit more challenging in that respect. So yeah. I'm missing the Princess experience. Hey, we got 132 people here. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up button, that'd be awesome. I do love MSC though. I mean, I'm enjoying MSC. I wouldn't say I love MSC. I'm enjoying MSC. I think it's a good cruise. I just personally prefer at this point the Princess experience. And I don't know what that means when I go to Royal Caribbean. Maybe I'll prefer Royal Caribbean over Princess and MSC, that experience. And then when I go to Norwegian, maybe I'll prefer that one. But right now, all I have to compare is MSC and Princess, and I just prefer the Princess experience. And I'm not saying MSC is bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a good cruise. I still have another MSC cruise to go. And if I had to pick one with the same itinerary, I would probably go with Princess because the Princess experience is just a little bit more elevated. All right. How does entertainment compare between Princess and MSC? I would say they're very similar. I went and saw the comedian on here. I went and saw Hypnotist. I went and saw one of their shows. I would say, in that respect, I would say they're very similar. Pretty much About the same. I do prefer, what I really like doing on a cruise ship is going and watching live music. Not the Broadway live music, like the musicians. And the venues on Princess are just better for that. The piazza's better for live music. The piazza on MSC, they have those famous steps with all the Swarovski stuff in them, and they're beautiful. But that piazza is like not very grand, and they have music there. It's down on the bottom level. There's not a lot of space there. That's also where guest services is. Guest services kind of overflows into the piazza. And so there's always people in guest services, complaining and all the stuff you do when you go to guest services. And so the piazza doesn't have a great feel for music. And then the venues haven't been that great, to be honest with you, for that kind of intimate music I like. I would say for the theater-wise, I would say they're very comparable. But so far, and maybe it's because I haven't went at the right time with the right group or right whatever. With MSC, they spent a lot of real estate on that big giant walkway they have with all the stores and the restaurants on top, which is amazing, especially the top restaurant area. They have a ton of great specialty restaurants. I would say they do that better than Princess. But the bottom area is just shops like FV and all the shops you're used to seeing on cruise. And to me, it's kind of a wasted space. I would much rather that area be more restaurants and little cafes you can sit at. There's not a whole lot of sitting spots in that area, just the chocolate restaurant and this little bitty kind of like place where they play music that's off on the side. It's not in a great position, in my opinion. And so it's not that very conducive for watching live music, which is one of the things I really like about cruising. Again, I'm on my phone, so if I miss your question, please ask it again. Any celebrity cruise experience? Not yet, but I do have a celebrity cruise booked, which I will be doing, so at some point I'll be able to offer a little bit. I've heard the celebrity experience and the Princess experience are very similar, so I have a feeling I'm going to like that. Hey Kevin, how does Wi-Fi compare to Sky Princess? I would say they're about the same. They're both okay. They're serviceable. You can go on Instagram and things like that, and you can do a lot of different things. I've watched YouTube videos on both of the cruises, so you can do both. You have to lower the resolution, but you can. I think both cruises were very similar with the Wi-Fi. I'm very curious about Enchantment of the Seas. I don't know if they have Starlink yet, but I know a lot of the Royal Caribbean ships do, so I'm curious to see if they have Starlink. But they're very comparable internet-wise. How do the amount of announcements on MSC compare to Princess? I would say they're about the same. I always heard this thing about MSC where they do all the announcements in multiple languages. I haven't had that at all on here, not one time. So it's not something I've had to worry about it's been about the same, to be honest with you. There's no difference. Maybe they do that on their ships when they're in Europe. Maybe they do the multiple different languages, but here on MSC Meraviglia, I have not heard the multiple language announcements. Let's see, did you eat at Ocean Cay? I have not eaten at Ocean Cay. Oh, did I eat at Ocean Cay? Or are you talking about the restaurant Ocean Cay? So I did eat at Ocean Cay, which is the private island. And I haven't been to the other cruise lines private island, but I would think it would be really hard to top MSC's private island. Ocean Cay is amazing. It's a nature reserve, so they don't have all that tomfoolery on there. They don't build a bunch of water slides and amusement parks on their private island. The private island is a wildlife sanctuary, so they can't do that, which is awesome. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's pristine. So I will give MSC props on that one for sure. I haven't been to any of the other private islands, so maybe they're just as good. But when I see pictures of them, they look more like amusement parks than like sanctuaries to me. John says, question, when you are taking back-to-back cruises, do you have to disembark between them? Yeah, it's a law in the US that you have to go through immigration again. Princess does it really well. MSC does not do it really well. It was a complete cluster. It blew my mind how much of a cluster it was, actually, because I would think they do this every cruise, especially with the way MSC books cruises, where you oftentimes book cruises that are actually multiple cruises. but you're booking it as one cruise. I would think they would have a lot of experience. It was a complete just cluster. It was like it was the first time they were doing it. The retired Navy Master Chief in me wanted to take charge because I felt bad for the people that were administering it, because they weren't given good instruction. It was bad. I don't want to just beat up on MSC during this thing, but there are some. I get why they get some not so favorable ratings. It's not one specific thing. It's a bunch of little tiny things that you're like, they could do that so much better so easily. Why do they not do it better? So, but yeah, the disembarkation, the turnaround was, Princess was so much more efficient, and I don't know why cruise lines don't adopt best practices from other cruise lines, because there's definitely things Princess can improve on as well. Someone said, when we cruised on the MSC in 2019, we had some problems with fellow cruisers. Have you experienced any problems? No, I haven't had any problems. I'm pretty easy to get along with. Not that you're not, Kale, but I haven't had any problems. It's definitely a more multicultural environment on here than the other cruises I've been on. There's definitely more countries represented on this MSC cruise for cruise passengers. I mean, you're always going to get that with crew, but with cruise passengers, it's definitely more multicultural, which I think is actually a good thing. But there are some things that are culturally acceptable in some cultures that aren't in others. There's a lot of line butting in on here because it's culturally acceptable in other places to do that, to get in a spot in line, and then 30 minutes later, 14 of your family members show up and they get that spot. But other than that, I haven't had any issues. David says, how far out do I schedule my cruises, and when changing cruise ships, are they in the same port? So I schedule my cruises, anywhere from 2 to 4 months out. That's about the max I'll go. That's just the way I travel, any way I travel, including cruising. So, and that works for me. I do change home ports. Like I was down in Fort Lauderdale, and now I'm in Orlando for MSC. I was in Fort Lauderdale for Princess, and I came up here. After I leave here, I'm flying to Baltimore. I'll get a hotel for one night, and then I'll board Enchantment of the Seas for 28 days. And then after that, I fly back down to Fort Lauderdale and hop on Caribbean Princess. After Caribbean Princess, I go to Miami. No, I go to Orlando and hop on NCL Getaway, and then I hop on MSC Seaside, and then back to Fort Lauderdale for Island Princess. So I do a lot of home port shifts. Chris, what's going on, man? How has the weather been? Any heavy rain days? No, not that I've noticed. The volume is too low. Please expose your mic more. Let's see. It might be my vocals. Let's see. I will actually turn up my gain on my mic. All right, how's that? Is it better? It might be too much with that gain. So we'll see. Let me see what you guys say. Are you masking at all or ever? Asked Professor LH. I choose not to. I've had COVID twice, and I'm vaccinated and double boosted. So, and I've had all 3 of the vaccinations. Oops, someone said too much. All right, looks like it's different between. All right, hopefully that's better. I actually got my mic wet, and so that might be part of it as well. I got it wet when I was on Ocean K. I tried to do a live stream on there, but the internet wasn't good enough. But hopefully that's good. Now I have background noise, then just your voice, too low. I think Gia might be messing with me. Okay, that's good, less background noise. I'm trying to not have any music. There's no music in the area I'm in, so it's great. I will try to talk louder. Do you think the cruise ship is good enough internet to use to work from home? I think it would depend on what you're doing. If you're doing emails and things like that, it's going to be perfect. If you got to do a lot of video chats and stuff, maybe not the best, but you can. I mean, I watch YouTube on here. I haven't done any live streams at sea on this ship, but I did it on Sky Princess, and it worked out fine. I was interviewed and had to tap in via video, and it was fine. Hey, we almost got 200 people in here. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up, see where we can get to. I never have volume issues. It must be this new way I have this thing rigged up. All right, if I missed your question, please ask it again. What's your schedule like? I'm an early bird. I get up pretty early, usually no later than 5 a.m. And I'll usually go up and I'll try to get 10,000 steps in, and then I'll look at the cruise ship schedule and see what's going on, and I'll start running around. Kevin, if you're in Baltimore, I recommend you visit the National Aquarium. I've actually been there before. I was in DC for 3 years, so I spent a lot of time in Baltimore. I plan on cruising to Alaska. Yeah, I haven't booked any Alaskan cruises yet. I actually booked one at one point and I had to cancel it because I decided to go on the Fire and Ice cruise. It's going to Iceland and Norway, and that's when my Alaskan cruises were. But I will have some Alaskan cruises coming up. DF says, hey Kevin, started following you during van life days, Thailand, and loving your adventure. Been on over 35 cruises myself. Excited to hear your new cruiser comparison of the lines. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, technically now I've been on 5, 6, 7, 8. I've been on 9 cruises. If you don't count my Navy cruises, if you count my Navy cruises, I've been on lots of cruises, hundreds actually, thousands of days at sea, thousands. I've got 10 years of over 10 years of sea time. On NCO Getaway, there is a hidden gelato place that is amazing. That's another thing about this MSC ship. The gelato place on here is phenomenal. I can't get enough of the pistachio gelato. It's phenomenal. What cruise line are you most looking forward to? I mean, I'm actually looking forward to getting back on Princess. The medallion experience is so good. Like I knew it was good when I was on there. I was amazed by it. But I didn't realize how much I would miss it when I didn't have it. It just makes cruising all that much better. So I'm excited to get on there. I'm also excited about NCL because I'm in one of their studio cabins to see what all the hype's about. I'm excited about Royal Caribbean too. You know, some people are loyal to Royal, and there's got to be a reason behind that, why they are. So I'm excited about that as well. For Euro cruises, are they all cruise ships, or are you going to do some river cruises? I am going to do some river cruises. I'm trying to book a Christmas cruise with my mom, actually, on the Rhine River, I think it is. I've been on 2 Royal Caribbean cruises. The only thing I did not like was the short time at the different ports. Yeah, that's a big thing about cruising. You only get a little bit of time in port. This time on MSC, we're actually going to be at their private island for multiple days, which I think is going to be really cool. I'm really excited about that. Is MSC living up to the reputation of hordes of people? What is the capacity? I don't know exactly what the capacity of the ship, but it's a lot. There are a lot of people on the ship. The ship is massive, and there are hordes of people in certain places. The buffet is always just packed, in my opinion. I know that people send pictures of it not packed, but in my experience, just about any time when you want to eat, it's pretty packed, and it's a huge buffet, but I just don't think it's organized very well. There's always lines where, you know, on Sky Princess, the buffet was much smaller, but it was just organized better. And obviously there's not as many people on Sky Princess as there are on this ship, but it's also a smaller buffet, and it was just, I never had an issue like trying to get food. And on here, it's like lines. Unless you do the pizza. I figured out something to go all the way to the back of the ship when all of the serving lines are open, and there's usually nobody back there, and they have everything that's in the front. But they do close like part of the buffet many times a day. So even though it's a huge buffet, it's usually only like 50% open. So I think that's a big problem too. And maybe that has to do with staffing on here. But other parts of the ship, I mean, every day I get up and I go on the track. The track is better on MSC than it is on Princess for sure. It's a really nice track. I'm trying to not be all negative. I know a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about Princess, and I'm trying to focus on some of the more positive things. But where was I going with that? I'm always like the only one on the track for the first hour, and then people start trickling up there, and eventually it's a cluster on the track around the 10 o'clock time frame. But when I go up there, it's pretty empty. So that's what I'll do real quick. I'm going to tell you all the things I like about MSC, and then, I'll tell you some of the things that, there's a lot of complaints about MSC, and a lot of times I take that stuff with a grain of salt because I think cruising is individual, what you're going to like. There are a lot of people that would just not like Princess, and I love Princess. I love the Princess experience, but a lot of people think it's super boring, and they wouldn't like it. And so I tend to wait until I get on board the cruise ship to formulate an opinion about it and about a cruise line. And again, even though some of the things I say might be negative, they might not even bother you on the cruise ship. Like there's things that people say that are negative about Princess that don't bother me. One of the things is like boarding on Princess is usually a cluster, and like that kind of thing just doesn't bother me. So the positives I really like about MSC. The bathrooms are phenomenal. They're great. The showers are huge. They do have a hot water fluctuation issue, but that's normal on ships. But it's pretty pronounced on here. Sometimes you gotta go in and out of the water because it'll get scalding hot and then cold, scalding hot. It reminds me of my Navy days, to be honest with you. But the bathroom is great. It's way better than the Princess bathrooms. The cappuccinos are next level good. As good as I lived in Italy for 2 years, as good as anything I ever got in Italy. They have the really good cappuccino machines. If you're on MSC Meraviglia, go to the chocolate shop, and they have the really good cappuccino machine. They have good cappuccino machines all over the ship, but they have the really good industrial, like all metal ones. Like they have really good ones, kinds that actually remind me of Italy. And the cappuccinos from those things are phenomenal. They're really good. And the white chocolate mochas are to die for. They did run out of white chocolate because they use actual white chocolate, not some kind of concentrate or powder. So the cappuccinos are really good. The running track is really good. What else do I really like about it? Oh, the specialty restaurants are phenomenal. Ola's Tacos is great. I haven't eaten at Ocean K yet, which is the fish restaurant. I'm going to try it this go around. The sushi place is great. I think it's actually a little better than the one on Sky Princess. And the taco place is great. And the tacos are only like $2 a piece. So even though it's a specialty restaurant and it costs money, it's only like $2 a taco. So it's not like super expensive or anything like that. So. But yeah, those are what I would say would be my positives. Hey, Emma Cruises is in the house. If you like Emma Cruises, go check out her channel. She doesn't need any help from me, but Emma's got an amazing cruise channel. One of my probably the first cruise channel I really started watching regularly, and then that led me to all the other cruise channels. If you have any questions, pop them in there. If I missed your question, it's not because I hate you. It's because I'm on my phone, and the chat just moves so quickly. And if you keep them short and sweet, that makes it even better for me. Kevin, I'm jealous of all your beautiful visits. I just shoveled my snow in Seattle, Washington this morning. More snow to come this week. Says Yuki. I used to live in Seattle. I don't know if you know that, Yuki. I was stationed in Everett, Washington. And I actually owned a condo in Everett up until 2020. That's when I sold it. Let's see. Am I using a microphone? Audio sounds great. Yeah, I'm using my wireless mic. That's funny because everyone else earlier was saying my audio sucked. I'm using just a Rode Wireless Go. You can plug it into your phone, and I can get up and walk around and talk, which is another thing I love about it. I can get up, I can go over here, I can answer your questions. This is the Norwegian Prima right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. But yeah, so if you got the wireless mic, you can run around and do little dances and stuff like that. But yeah, that's Norwegian Prima right there. So yeah, those are the positives for MSC that I just mentioned. Some of the negatives are the typical stuff you hear about it. My stateroom steward has been as good as any stateroom steward I've had, any cabin steward I've had, if not better. He's actually sometimes a little bit too overzealous because I'm very easy. Like, I only want people to clean my cabin one time a day, and like I don't need them coming back like 40 times. And because I'm the only person in his group that has this black card, and so he thinks he's got to do a bunch of extra stuff for me. And finally I had to tell him, like, hey, look, don't worry about me anymore. Like, don't, please, it's amazing. But he's phenomenal, as good as any other one. Customer service on the ship as a whole is not very good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's just not. Like, I feel anytime I go to like order a cappuccino, I feel like the person is doing me a favor. Like, they feel like they don't want to do it. It's weird. It's a weird vibe. I don't like to sugarcoat things, but it's not something that bothers me. I get my cappuccino and I move on with my life. I don't stress about it, but it's definitely noticeable on here. But we'll see. That kind of stuff varies ship to ship as well. I'll be on MSC Seaside in May, so we'll get to see if maybe Seaside is different than MSC. I don't like to make judgments by one ship or one cruise or anything like that. And again, I'm not, I like MSC, but I've only been on 2 cruise lines in the last month. And if you asked me to compare the two, if I had similar cruises, which one would I book, Princess or MSC? I'd probably book Princess because I just like the experience on Princess. But who knows? This cruise isn't over, and I'm going to be on Enchantment of the Seas, which is Royal Caribbean. Maybe I'll like Royal Caribbean better than both of them. Who knows? How are you able to transfer status to the upgraded status? If you just Google MSC status match, it's really easy. It took them a day. I'm elite on Hilton Honors. If you guys have been watching my YouTube channel for a while, I was over in Italy, and there was a problem with my with one of the Airbnbs I was in. Did I say Italy? I meant Thailand. I was in Thailand. There was a problem with one of my Airbnbs, and Airbnb put me in a Hilton for like a month and a half because of that. And so I got like ultimate Hilton status, and MSC will match your status for airlines, for hotels, for other cruise lines. And so I got the top status for them. To be honest with you, it doesn't get you a whole lot other than some freebies in your room, which I appreciate. But with Princess at platinum level, which is the second down tier, I get half price off internet, which those are the kind of things I like. I want money off stuff. Or free laundry, I think, at the elite level. Where on this ship I get 10% off laundry at the highest level, where on Princess I'll get free laundry. So, but it's still a nice thing to have for free, I didn't have to do anything for it. I bet you're famous on MSC by now. I've never been recognized on a cruise before until this cruise. And I've been getting recognized a few times, but not a whole lot. I'm not like Emma Cruises, where I have to like not tell people what cruise ships I'm going to be on because I'm afraid I'm going to get axe murdered. If you're watching, check. If you're subscribed, so close to 100K. Thanks, Emma. You're awesome. I'm trying to be like you. I was getting tons of subscribers, and then YouTube's always peaks and valleys, and that's the way it is. Like, I'm 2,000 away, I think, from 100K. And that could take me a week or a year to get to. It took me a year to get my first 1,000 subscribers. So, I mean, it could take me 2 years. So, Kevin, great idea to spend Christmas on a cruise with your mom. Yeah, I'm trying to get I'm trying to. She really wants to do the Christmas cruise in Europe, so I'm working on getting a river cruise booked for that. If you have a question, you ask it. And I missed it. Ask it again. And yeah, I probably missed it. That first Airbnb in Thailand was actually my favorite, says Maxine. Yeah, that was an awesome Airbnb. I was in this amazing Airbnb in Thailand, and it was only like $300 and something a month. And it was 2-level, and you walked right out the door into the pool. It was awesome. But they were, the people who owned the Airbnb were doing some sketchy stuff. Later on, I found out they were just falsifying electric bills, which I would have been fine with, to be honest with you. I just would have stayed there. I thought they were like filming me or something while I was taking a shower or something like that, but that's not what it was. Emma has some great videos on cruises, river cruises. She's a big bike enthusiast. She knows I'm just joking when I say that. And she went on a river boat cruise that also integrated biking into it, which I think actually would be really cool. Someone said, where are you right now? I'm in Orlando, Port Canaveral. I say Orlando, but that's like saying Southampton is London. Port Canaveral is not Orlando, even though they say it's Orlando. It's about an hour drive from Orlando. We are unloading people, and this next cruise is Nassau, and then 2 days at Ocean Cay, which is amazing. When I was talking about positives of MSC, I haven't been to any other private islands with other cruises, but I'd imagine that MSC is going to be my favorite private island because it's a nature sanctuary. They don't have a bunch of water parks and a bunch of, stuff like that here. And I think like that's my preference. It's pristine, it's beautiful, it's amazing. So yeah. Emma says, I'm taking a cycling cruise again this year. Not been on a bike since last year's cruise though. That'll be awesome. I'm excited to see that. It's great content. I love it. Hot dates, or what dates will you be on NCL Getaway? I think Getaway is, it's 1 to 10 May. I never know exactly, but if there's a 1 to 10 May getaway on NCL Getaway, I'm on that one. And I'm in a studio cabin. It's my most expensive cruise I've ever taken. Cost per day, it's $140 a day. But I wanted to try out the studio cabins because everyone always hypes them up. So, yeah, MSC Island is incredible. I mean, it's beautiful. I tried to live stream from there, but the internet's just not good enough to live stream from. But it's gorgeous. It's probably going to be my favorite cruise port to visit. And the cool thing about this cruise is we're going to be there overnight. We're doing an overnight there, which I wish we did that in more cruise ports. And that's going to be pretty cool to wake up and just walk off the ship again the next day. And the island it's not huge enough to not be able to walk side to side, around the island, but it's also big enough where you have like part of the island to yourself when you want it to yourself. It was pretty amazing. And even with this big giant cruise ship with tons of people, I don't know exactly how many people were on the last cruise, but it was a lot. It was probably, I'd say upwards of 5,000 to 6,000 people, counting the crew. So it was a lot. But yeah, that's one of the things I love about MSC. And to me, that's enough reason to cruise MSC in the Caribbean is that private island. There are things that Princess does way better than MSC. And I haven't been to Princess Cay, which is Princess's like private island. It's not really an island, but private island or private beach area. So, because that port actually got canceled on us. So I can't really compare the two at the moment, but I can't imagine me liking Coco Cay or Princess Cay. Now I have heard Harvest Cay is amazing, but I can't imagine me liking any of those more than I would like Ocean Cay, which doesn't have all the amusement park elements that like Coco Cay has. That's another thing about MSC is there's a ton of kids on here. I think when I was on Sky Princess, we had 3,000 something passengers, and I think there was 14 kids on board. I mean, I guarantee you there's 14 kids in that hot tub right there right now. There's a lot of kids. So that's just different than what I'm used to. so far with the cruising I've done. And it's okay, it doesn't bother me, but it definitely makes buffets more challenging, things like that. But the Princess cruises I've done had way less kids. The demographic is definitely younger on MSC Meraviglia. There's a lot of younger couples. There's the solos I would say is probably similar to Princess's solos. I'd say the median age is probably like 55. I'm 47, so it's probably around that 50, 55 age for the solo cruisers. But there are a lot of younger families on board, a ton of younger families on board. Bo says, cruised on Getaway in 2018. As my first cruise, really enjoyed it. Can't wait for your review. Yeah, I'm excited to get on a Norwegian ship. I have been on a Norwegian ship before for an Alaskan cruise, but it was a long time ago, and I barely remember anything about it. I've done two, before I embarked on this journey, I did 2 Alaskan cruises, one on Princess, one on NCL. I did a Carnival cruise in the Caribbean. And then obviously right before I started this, I did the Panama Canal on Princess, and then I did, I lived 21 days on Sky Princess, and then I moved over to Meraviglia. My next cruise ship is Royal Caribbean Enchantment of the Seas, which is an older Royal Caribbean ship, but the price was great. And I'll be on that ship for 28 days before hopping back on Caribbean Princess for 28 days. And then hopping on board Breakaway for 10 days, or Getaway for 10 days, MSC Seaside for 14 days, and then Island Princess going from Fort Lauderdale to Southampton, stopping all in Norway, all in Iceland, Halifax. That's a 33-day cruise. That's on Island Princess. So I don't have anything booked after that. I'm looking, so we'll see. We'll see what I end up on. Maybe I'll bump into Emma on one of her cruises. That'd be phenomenal. I think when I watch Emma, she's like a kindred spirit in the way we cruise. She prefers inside cabins. I'm assuming, just based on what I've watched on her videos, she's probably more of an introvert like I am, although she does like to get out and do things, which I like to do. But I'm not like, I'm not at 2 o'clock in the morning partying, I'm not closing the clubs down. I'm not drinking a lot. I don't really drink a lot of alcohol. A cocktail here, a cocktail there. Y'all seem to love the cocktails that I get. My cocktails are like my coffee. They're all foo-foo. So, yeah. The other day I had my mango mojito. That was a big hit on Instagram. Are the bartenders friendly? Yeah, the bartenders are friendly. I mean, the staff is friendly on board. A lot of times when I order things, I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and trying to go find a cappuccino. And so it's probably also staff members that got up, and it always seems like they're doing me a favor to make me a cappuccino that I'm paying for, by the way, because I don't sell coffee package on here. And I always tip too. So I make them feel bad when I tip them for bad service. I feel that way. Hey, my buddy Karen's on here from Ruby Princess, which is my favorite cruise ship I've ever been on, Ruby Princess. She said, you know me, I'm a bit of how I cruise. Do you think I would like MSC? So I didn't realize, I knew the Princess medallion experience was great when I was on board. I loved it. I didn't realize how much I loved it until I didn't have it. The Princess experience is just a little bit more elevated experience than MSC. I don't want it to seem like I'm trashing MSC. It's just a different experience. They're catering to a different audience, and they just do things differently. And maybe you'll like the way MSC does things better. Some people like MSC's hands-off approach. But, I mean, I'm by a bar right now. I could literally sit in this chair for 5 hours and no one would ask me to get me a drink. You have to literally go up to the bar and ask. Where on Princess, it would be every 10 minutes someone would probably ask me if I wanted a drink right now. And it's just a more elevated cruise experience. It's more traditional. The ships, Princess ships, are brighter, where MSC are more European, like Italian style. Kind of reminds me of like an MGM Grand Hotel, the decor. It's darker, and so it has a darker feeling. The cabins are definitely darker. The bathrooms are better on MSC, so if you value bathrooms, the bathrooms are definitely better than on Princess, in my opinion. But the staterooms as a whole, the inside cabins are much brighter, and the way they angle the mirrors, it just looks bigger, even though they're not bigger. The closets are huge on Princess, and the closets are tiny on MSC. So it's just knowing you. Now you are a smoker, Kara, not to dime you out. You are a smoker, and they're much more smoker friendly on here. Like you can smoke on the pool deck. There's half the pool deck is for smokers. Actually, in this area I'm at right now, the other side with all these types of table and chairs are for smokers. So it's much more smoker friendly than MSC. So you might, or than Princess. So you might like it better because of that. But just based on my interaction with you and your husband, you really like the Princess experience, and you're not going to get the Princess experience on MSC, obviously. You're going to get the MSC experience, and they're just different. It's a much more traditional cruise experience on Princess. I'll give you an example. On Princess, I wake up in the morning, I jump on the Medallion app, I order a butter pecan latte. 5 minutes later, it shows up to my stateroom. I'm sipping my latte, watching the wake show, right? The morning show they do every day on Princess. On MSC, I wake up, I need to get up, put my clothes on, trudge down to the one bar that's open at 6 a.m., order my cappuccino to someone that doesn't really want to give me a cappuccino, and go back to my stateroom and watch the Discovery Channel or something. There's no wake show or anything like that. It's just a different experience. So, sorry. And I don't want it to seem like I'm beating up on MSC, because I'm not. It's just different. They're just different experiences. And Princess is just better for me as a 47-year-old single guy. Where MSC, I think, is better for a family. There's like a water park on here. There's a freaking bowling alley. There's video games. There's all kinds of things that are unimportant to me that take up a lot of real estate on here that might be really important to you. And I will cruise MSC again just for Ocean Cay. Ocean Cay is awesome. It's amazing. And I'm going to be on Seaside, so I'm going to see a newer ship. This ship's from 2017 is when it was launched. Sky Princess was launched in 2019, or actually I think this one was launched in 2016. Sky Princess was launched in 2019. So Sky Princess is also a newer ship. So maybe that's shaping the way I view things as well. So, but I will be on MSC Seaside, so I'll get to see that ship. So I don't want to make a judgment on MSC until I've been on more ships, and also cruised them out of Europe, which is where they're, that's their bread and butter, right? I want to see what they're like in Europe as well before I judge them. But their private island is phenomenal. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's everything I thought it would be from the pictures. It's awesome. One thing I really like about the island is there are speakers built into the ground throughout the whole island, and so throughout the whole island you have this great Caribbean music. It just puts you in the mood, it puts you in the vibe. There is a sanctuary section over there where you can go get a massage and stuff, and there's no music. And so if you want no music and privacy and things like that, you can go over there. But it's just really cool. Someone says they used Rakuten. Yeah, if you guys don't use Rakuten, like I have a link down below. I think they give you $30 if you sign up. It's free, and they give you 1.5% cash back on Princess cruises, 2% on Celebrity, although it was 4%. So I think the percentages move around, and then 4% on another cruise line, and then a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, like it's phenomenal. I booked a $4,000 Princess cruise, and I got 1.5% back, which was great. It's money I wouldn't have got back anyway, And they'll give it to you either via check or PayPal. So it's pretty great. Will you be giving a tour of your stateroom? Yeah, I'm actually putting together a video right now, me comparing Princess's inside cabin and MSC Meraviglia's inside cabin. I always do a room tour when I do my end of the cruise cost video. It's the first thing I start off with, so you see what I paid for, you know? I mean, there's a difference between cruising in a mini suite and cruising in an inside cabin cost-wise, so I want you to see what I paid for. So that's always a part of my cost analysis. I should probably put that in the title, that there's a room tour in there, because everyone's always asking me for room tours. But yeah. Yeah, I will do that. I hear there's a cruise with a roller coaster on it. Yeah, I think it's a Royal Caribbean cruise, probably. I know NCL has the go-kart track on one of theirs. Actually, I think Prima. Yeah, Prima's right there. Pretty sure Prima has a go-kart track on board. Pretty sure. I think Prima's their newish cruise ship, right? All right, if you have a question and I missed it, ask it again. Oh, there's Apple GG. What's going on, man? Have you been to Iceland before? Going in May for the first time. Any recommendations? I have, but it was a long time ago. You're going in May? I'm going to be there in May. Into May, though. I'm going on, I'm doing a thing called a Fire and Ice cruise, 33-day cruise, Princess. It goes to Halifax, 4 spots in Iceland, a dozen spots in Norway, and then drops us off in Southampton. Will you do a YouTube video of the private island? I might do one of the private island. We'll see. Yeah, I might do one, but you know, those kind of videos are usually pretty boring because I'm like, okay, here's the island. You know, like it's not like a port city where there's like a bunch of cultural things you can get into. It would just be like, hey, here's a beautiful beach in the Bahamas. Here's another beautiful beach in the Bahamas. Here's a lizard. You know, it would be, I don't know exactly what I would. I guess I could show the stores and the food that you get there and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know how good of YouTube content that would be. It'd probably fit into more of like me talking about, like when I do my cruise wrap up and I'm talking about the things I liked about MSC. Amazon Prime documentary about MSC site was very good and educational. We appreciate people working behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, you got to appreciate the people working behind the scenes on any cruise ship, obviously. Whether it's MSC, Princess, whatever, the people on board work hard. I mentioned this earlier, my stateroom steward is as good, if not better, than any one I've had. There are some customer service issues on here, I'm not gonna lie. And that's a training issue. It's not like I don't think it's a individual issue. They're probably doing it as the way they're told, but I'm also American and we're spoiled when it comes to customer service. So, you know, I kind of take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But it's just different. You know, I lived in Europe for a couple of years. I lived in Italy for 2 years, and it was the same thing there. If you go order a meal in Europe, you'll sit at the table for 20 hours before they'll bring your check by. You got to say it. Where in the U.S., they're going to bring your check by as soon as they feel like you're done. You know, it's just those kind of cultural differences. And so it's more me than the ship. But they are trying to compete for a U.S. audience, and they do take a lot of heat about it, and they have said they're trying to improve it. So, I mean, it's not something I'm going to not talk about because it's definitely not at the level of Princess, and we'll see about Royal Caribbean. Maybe it's every cruise line but Princess, but I doubt it. I have a feeling Royal Caribbean is going to have great customer service. There's just so many people loyal to Royal that how could it not be? Okay. I love how you talk about some of your experience from an HR perspective. Yeah, I mean, I was a command master chief in the Navy, so I had to deal with this kind of stuff all the time, the HR type of stuff. So, like today, I felt so bad for the people that were thrown in the fire for organizing, getting us on and off the ship, for the people who were doing back-to-back cruises, because they weren't given a good plan to follow. The plan was awful. It was terrible. And it was a cluster. And I see why people complain about it, especially after coming off Princess, where it's a pretty well-oiled machine, when they do turnaround day on back-to-back cruises. You know, you're going to spend a little time with them, but there's reason and rhyme behind it, and they let you know what that rhyme and reason is. On MSC, it was just a cluster. I mean, it was just unorganized from the get-go until we got back on the ship. It was 3 hours long, and it should have been a half an hour. And there was a lot of disgruntled people, and they were disgruntled at the wrong people. The poor people that had to deal with this mess of a plan that whoever their supervisor is came up with. I'm interested to know about MSC food compared to others. I've cruised 35 times, but haven't with MSC. I think if you cruise with other cruise ships, I think the buffet is not going to be as good as the buffet on other cruise ships, except for the pizza. Pizza's great. But other than that, I would say they do put out mozzarella. They have a mozzarella day, and that was phenomenal. It reminded me of when I was in Italy. So there are things that they do really well in the buffet, but it's mostly like the same 10 items over and over again at each station. It's not a whole lot of variety. They run out of stuff. I've noticed that a lot on here. They run out of stuff a lot. And I know, like, someone might say, well, supply issues right now. Well, I didn't have that issue on Princess. So I don't know why they would be different. Maybe they are, but they have run out of stuff like essentials, essential stuff, in my opinion. It's little things. There's nothing I can point at that has made this cruise not as enjoyable as my time on Princess. It's a bunch of little bitty things, like, you know, going up to the buffet in the morning to get a cup of coffee. Early in the morning, I get up super early, and there not being coffee in the coffee machines. Like, to me, that's like unacceptable. Like, that's unacceptable at 6 o'clock in the morning to not have coffee on a cruise ship. But that might not bother other people. You know, they might drink the strawberry kiwi juice. But yeah, I would say the food in the dining room, I would say, is up to par with Princess. I don't think either one of them are phenomenal. I would say the specialty restaurants are probably a little better on here, on MSC, than are on Princess. I mean, Crown Grill's good. They're good, but there's more variety on here. Maybe it's not that it's better, there's just more variety. I can go to a fish restaurant. I can go to Ola Tacos, which is phenomenal street tacos. They're only like $2 a piece. They're not expensive. The sushi restaurant was definitely better than the one on Sky Princess on here. The pub is cool. I wish they had a pub on every ship. It's really cool. They don't utilize it as good as they should, I think. They should have more live music in there. They have a live music stage. Why they don't have more live music in there, I have no idea. They should have a guy sitting there playing guitar. Like, they should constantly, I would be in there 18 hours a day. They had that. But they don't. They'll have like someone in there for an hour a day. Like come on. like there's little things that they just miss a little bit, you know. And yeah. I would say the ship is beautiful, but it's not beautiful in a classic sense. It's beautiful like an MGM hotel is in Vegas. It reminds me more of that. You don't have a connection with the ocean like you do on other cruise lines, in my opinion, because a lot of the venues, they basically close off to the ocean. And when you're walking through the main areas of the ship, there's no connection to the ocean because they have a centerline P-way instead of P-way. It's Navy passageway, P-way, that's what it means. They have centerline passageway. And so even if there is a little bit of ocean, it's way far away from you. Where on, you know, other ships they'll have the starboard and the port passageways, and you're like the ocean is like right there. So you have more of a classic cruise experience on those ships that are built that way, where you have less of that. And that would be fine if they made better use of the MSC has this famous like long atrium, and it's beautiful. And the top area is great. There's all these great restaurants and that pub, and there's a music venue that's actually pretty good. It's kind of like Take 5 on Sky Princess. It's pretty good. Although they don't have enough live music there, in my opinion. It's only like 2 or 3 hours a day. But that area could be like, there could be cafes there, but it's all the like Effie shops and all that kind of stuff. And there's not a whole lot of seating area other than at the chocolate place. It could be so much better. You know, I should be able to sit there at a cafe and enjoy a cappuccino, because they do cappuccinos awesome. They should have a cafe where I can sit and enjoy it and people watch and like spend tons of money drinking cappuccinos and ordering gelato, and but it's not that way, but it could be. And so they're just missing the mark on certain things, where other cruise ships have like finally tuned that stuff in and honed it in. Like I haven't been on Royal Caribbean where the Central Park is, but that's what it seems like that Central Park area is like. And so yeah, that would be my feedback on that. It's not, for the money, I think it's a great option, and if you have family, I think it's a phenomenal option, because they have a freaking bowling alley on this cruise ship. They have video games, they have laser tag, they have a water park, they have all these cool things that mean nothing, that provide no value to my cruise. So it's wasted on me, right? This cruise ship is massive, side to side, and to me, I'd rather have a different experience on a ship that size. I want more stuff that I enjoy, and there's less stuff I enjoy on here, but more stuff that you might enjoy. That makes sense. But please don't take this as me bashing MSC. I'm not. I think MSC fits into a cruise niche, and I think it fits into, like, it even fits into mine. Like, I will, from now on, I think I'll use MSC to go Ocean Cay. So I'll book the cruises that have multiple Ocean Cay visits, like the MSC cruise I'm taking on Seaside. It's 14 days, and I think 5 of those days are in Ocean Cay, so that's perfect. I know I'm gonna love that cruise no matter what my experience is like on board, because I love Ocean Cay. And so for me, that's how I would fit it into my cruise experience. And I'm cruising differently than you. But I would say don't not try it because Kevin thinks that MSC doesn't offer as good of an experience as Princess. Princess experience is just geared towards more of my cruising style. So you have to figure out what your cruising style is, and then you'll figure out more what cruise ships you like. Like, I think because I like the Princess experience, I'll probably like Holland America. I will probably like, Azamara. I'll probably like, cruise lines like that. We'll see if I like Royal Caribbean. I'm going on an older ship that's probably more like a Princess ship. Would I like their mega ships? I don't know if I would or not. We'll have to see when I try those out. I'm going to be on Symphony of the Seas when I'm in Asia, so I'll be on one of their mega ships. But yeah. Now, I definitely want to try MSC Divina, because that's a smaller ship, and I might like the experience on Divina because it's more like the Princess ships I like Ruby Princess, which is a smaller ship. So maybe I would love MSC on that ship. So I don't want people to make a judgment on whether or not to cruise MSC based on my 7 days on MSC Meraviglia. That's not fair to MSC at all. I think you should try out different cruise lines. But if you only get one vacation a year, I think it's really important that you figure out which cruise line fits your cruise style, because I think I've only been on 2 so far, 2 lines, but they're very different experiences for the money. And to be honest with you, the cost is about the same. MSC is cheaper cruise fare wise, but once you get on board, you spend a little bit extra money on different things like internet and things like that. And so it ends up evening out. I would say Princess and MSC are comparable in price. One big question to you, Kevin. Is a bed and MSC as good as Princess? So that's going to be when I talk about the rooms. I don't know how Princess does it. In inside cabins, it's 2 beds, 2 single beds, so they can maximize the space for people that want to travel, kind of like Emma does, Sometimes she travels with her brother or family members, and so obviously they don't want the bed together. They want the bed separate. But me, I want them together. I want a queen size bed. And so I always elect the queen size. So they put the beds together. And Princess has some kind of mattress topper that you don't even notice that you're on 2 beds, and it is so comfortable. And MSC is not that way. They have a mattress topper on board, but I'm constantly falling in between the 2 beds at night, constantly hitting. I move around a lot in my sleep, so maybe it's just me. And if I had 2 people in there, we were sharing the bed together, I had a significant other with me, and she was on one side and I was on the other, maybe it would be not such an issue, but I kind of take up the whole bed. So I'm constantly falling in that crack, and it's definitely not as comfortable. I'm not dogging them. It's a comfortable bed. If I would have cruised MSC first, I would have said, bed's fine, it's great. But because I have Princess's bed to compare it to, it's not the same. It's not as good. The bed in Princess is so much better. It's just like, and that's my thing, is if I was sourcing that stuff for MSC, I would like look at all the message boards and go, okay, who is Princess ordering from? Let's order from them. But the beds on Princess is probably the best bed I've ever slept on in my life. Like better than my beds that I've had at home. Like, it's just so comfy. It's like falling into a vat of feathers or something. I don't know. And it just stays cool constantly. I don't know how they do it, but it's phenomenal. Their beds are phenomenal. But I always like to go back when I talk about something Princess does way better than MSC. I like to go back to something that MSC does way better than Princess. MSC makes a way better cappuccino. It's not even close. It's miles apart. If I could get a butter pecan cappuccino made on this ship, I would drink it every single day, probably 40 times a day. Their coffees are so much better. Ask the steward for a better mattress topper. I'll try that. I would imagine they're all the same brand, so it's probably not going to change it too much. What bed does Princess use? Do you know? I have no idea. And I don't know if it's about the bed more than it is the mattress topper they use, because they put these two beds together, they put the mattress top over it. I've never even noticed that it's not a queen, and I sleep all over the bed. In MSC, I wake up multiple times at night, falling down into that little crack. So, but they do cappuccinos better, and their showers are way better, size-wise. Not hot water-wise, size-wise they're better. Princess has got them beat on the maintaining the temperature of the hot water thing. It fluctuates a lot on MSC. Please describe your best experience at any of the ports so far. So I would say eating the mofongo in eating the mofongo in Puerto Rico. It's probably that was a recommendation from my friend Chris. And what's funny about my friend Chris? So we were stationed in the Navy together. We actually were drill sergeants in boot camp together, and we've been friends our whole life. Her daughters are now grown. They're in their 20s, and one of her daughters is thinking about RVing, and she said, "Hey mom, check out this video of this guy who RVs," and it was me. Her daughter was showing her a video of me, and she texted me immediately, said, "Hey, you're never gonna believe this. My daughter showed me a video of you," and I said, "I know him," and she was like, "No, you don't." And so she showed her our text messages back and forth on Facebook, so she could know it was me. But yeah, it was funny. Princess actually sells and did sell their mattresses. I'm not sure if they still do. That's so funny. Hey, if you asked a question and I missed it, please ask again. Okay, let's talk about another thing that MSC does better than Princess: gelato. I mean, it's an Italian-based cruise line. Of course, they're going to kick their ass in cappuccinos and gelato, but their gelato is like next level good. Like, I'm walking at least 20,000 steps a day, so I can have their gelato with the white chocolate cone they have, or the chocolate cone they have, which they have their own chocolate maker on board, so they're made there. It's so good. It's next level. So they definitely beat Princess with the gelato for sure, 100%. Hey, we've got 238 people in the chat. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And I think I missed a super chat. I apologize for that. Let me go back and see if I can find it. Wow, there it is. Fred says, "Oh, you know what? I did answer your question." Okay, good. Let me read it again just in case I missed it. I'm interested to know how MSC food compares. Yeah, I would say MSC's food in the specialty restaurants is as good, if not better, than most cruise ships. I would say in the buffet, in the main dining room, it's probably about the same. I don't think any main dining room's that great, to be honest with you, that I've been on so far. So it's like they're mediocre, I think, relative. But I don't spend a lot of time in the main dining room. But the buffet, I think, is definitely subpar, except for the pizza. The pizza is really, really good, and the mozzarella, when they have mozzarella day, is phenomenal. I think that is why Princess so much. I didn't enjoy the bells and whistles. I didn't sail with kids or family. Yeah, if you're into the bells and whistles, like you need amusement park on board the ship, or you need water slides, Princess is probably not a good match for you. I'm not sure about the Sky Princess, the new one they're building. Not the Sky Princess, the Sun Princess. Maybe that's going to have that stuff. I know it's going to be the biggest ship. But I wouldn't, like, I remember I met a woman who had her daughter on board that actually watched my YouTube channel, and she was on board with her 14-year-old daughter, and her daughter says it wasn't a good experience. So I don't think that Princess is probably a good experience if you have kids. Unless your kids are like I was when I was a kid, kind of nerdy and likes to read. I think it'd be good for a kid that's an introvert and likes to relax. But I don't think it would be great for a kid, especially a 14-day cruise. They'd probably, I mean, you can only spend so much time in the pool. Could you see yourself doing 113 days on MSC? Asked Nana on the run. So you're probably talking about that new world cruise they got. Probably not. Not because of MSC, because I like to switch it up. I like to switch cruise lines, ships, things like that. And if I was going to do something like that, at this moment in time, it would be on a Princess ship, because I just prefer the Princess experience over the MSC experience. So if I was going to do something like that, spend that much time on one ship, I'd probably do it on a ship that I enjoyed the experience more. Kevin, is the gelato included in the regular price? No, the gelato bar is not. I don't even know how expensive it is. I never pay attention to that. I probably should. It's probably $5 to $7 a cone, I would imagine. It's top quality though. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's worth it. They also do crepes. I did one of the crepes. I did the banana Nutella crepe, and it was phenomenal. I could eat 1 million of them at one sitting. Hey, Kim Plummer with the $4 super chat. Bought my next cappuccino. Cappuccinos are expensive on here. Also good for younger kids. The Discovery camps are very science and exploration based. That's very cool. But the other, that Princess is not the best for kids. Yeah. Shoot, I almost exited out of the live stream. That would have been bad. All right, if I missed your question, please ask it again. Alaska cruises are boring. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you like. I love Alaskan cruises. If I didn't have that Fire and Ice cruise, I would have spent probably 30 to 60 days cruising Alaska, just doing it over and over again. I love Alaska, but I'm boring, so it makes sense that someone might not like it. I'm pretty much a boring person. Cruise crepe versus roadie at a Thai market. Ooh, so they had roadie on Gator Jake. They had roadie on the Princess cruise I was on. They had it every morning. Coconut and onion roadie. It was really good. But I would say the crepe is good. Financially, you get great perks on Princess. Yeah, that's another thing about Princess for me. Like I'm on here, I get no onboard credit. So everything I'm spending for internet, which is expensive, that's another complaint about MSC is, I always get the one device package. Well, with MSC, they attach it to a device, so you can't switch from one device to another. Where on Princess, I can get the one device package and use it on multiple devices. I just have to switch. I can only do one at a time. On here, I had to buy multiple packages, so it got really expensive, and there's no onboard credit. On Princess, you almost always get onboard credit with the future cruise credits, and the just booking, you usually get at least $100 onboard credit. And for me, I get $250 for being retired military, and $250 for being a shareholder. So I usually walk on board a Princess cruise with $700 or $800 off board credit. And so buying internet and buying expensive cappuccinos and all that stuff is, yeah. So that's another reason that I like Princess, because I get so much onboard credit. Maybe at some point that ends and maybe you don't qualify for that stuff. But for me, it's great. But even if you don't have the stock or and by the way, if you buy the stock, it pays for itself in 4 cruises. But even if you don't have the stock or the thing for your job, like teachers get it, first responders, things like that. Other people get it, not just military. If you don't have that, you always get onboard credit when you book. Like right now, I think it's $100, $150. And then if you buy the future cruise credits, which are $100 on board, but that $100 comes off the next cruise you book, so you get the 100 back, like taken off your cruise price, and then they'll give you onboard credit up to $150. So you can always get at least $200 onboard credit with Princess, so that pays for a lot of stuff. And Princess lets you use it on anything, which I really like, where other cruise lines don't. But with MSC, I get 5% off for being retired military. So I do get a benefit. I get 5% off cruise fare. So that's pretty cool. So you do get a bidding from MSC. And MSC also does status match. So I went from 0 to hero right away. And I will say the perks on here aren't that great. It's just a bunch of stuff. Like they dropped off a bottle of Prosecco, I gave it to somebody else. Gave me some macaroons, which were good. Gave me a chocolate bar, which was good. They don't give you the chocolate chip anymore, they give you a chocolate bar. I was really looking forward to getting that chocolate chip, but I didn't get it. You don't get it on here anymore, you get a chocolate bar. But it comes from that Jean Philippe, which is, they make it fresh here, so it was really good. Where was I going with all that? Where was I going with all that? I can't remember. We got 256 people in the chat. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up, I would appreciate it. Doesn't MSC give you 5% for Diamond as well? Yeah, but it's not combinable. So, yeah, I get either 5% off for being in the military or 5% for this. It doesn't combine, which is smart of them. I mean, their cruises are already inexpensive as it is. NCO gives me 10% for being retired military, though, which is great. Let's see. Scenery looks amazing. Yeah, we're in Port Canaveral. That's NCL Prima behind me. Christy says that the teaching discount I could use. Karen, yeah, check it out. I know they give, some cruise ships give the teacher's discount or credit for being a teacher. So yeah, check that out. And I know first responders get it. Obviously, military and veterans get it on Princess. And I think it's every country's veterans. It's not just U.S. veterans. Are there lots of teens on board? Asked Tanya. Yes. On this MSC cruise, there are lots. I don't know about this one that I'm getting ready to leave on, because we're switching crew, or we're switching people, But on my last cruise, which happened to coincide with President's Day, so that could be a big part of it. And I learned from Emma that a lot of people in Europe, I think, are off right now for some holiday or something that they get. And there was a lot of Europeans. There was a lot of Brits. There was a lot of Italians. There was a lot of Europeans on board. So that could add something to it. Maybe this cruise it won't be, but this is a short 4-day cruise, so I'm willing to bet that there probably will be a lot of people. Dove siete? Let's see. Hey Kevin, just tuning in, gonna plan any food videos? Yeah, I'll probably do some food videos there, Calvin. I know you love the food. Question from someone who likes the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm from St. Louis, if you didn't know that. Alexis says, sorry, just got here. What's good, bad about the ship? Comparison. So what's good and bad about it? Because I cruised Princess first, I got to experience the medallion technology and the medallion experience, and it's hard to cruise without that now and not think about it, like the ability, just the way the medallion interacts with the ship. It's just not, the card, it's just not the same. The ability to wake up at 5 in the morning and order a butter pecan latte on my app, and 5 minutes later it's in my stateroom. Where on here I have to get up and go get it, get out of bed, go find it, go find a place that's open, because not a lot of places are open that early on here. Yeah, it's that I didn't realize how much I would love the Princess experience. So speak inglese? Yeah, io capito un po' l'italiano. L'inglese a little is better. But yeah, I would say the pizza's really good on here. The cappuccinos are really good. the food in the buffet is okay. It's not great. I've noticed they don't really keep track of like how long food has been sitting. Like the hamburgers they put under a bright light and they wrap them up, and so the buns are always stale. So the hamburgers are no bueno. And a lot of times they'll leave stuff, like they're not marking it, and so it'll have been sitting for a while, and it's cold, and it's very repetitive. A lot of buffets are going to be repetitive, but it's pretty repetitive. I mean, it's very repetitive. There's like five to 10 items, and that's it. What they do better is specialty restaurants. On here, they're great. Hola tacos. You know, it's like $2-3 a taco, and they're amazing tacos. You can go eat. The sushi place was better than I had on Princess. But yeah, stuff like that. Do you use the pool or hot tubs? I do every now and again, but not a whole lot, especially on here. They're just full of kids. And that's not my vibe, you know? So on Princess, I did a lot. On here, not as much. If I can catch it in the morning and get one, yeah. Impressive. MSC gives 10% off for healthcare workers. Very cool. Thank you for bringing up discounts. Yeah, I always check, just like the status match for MSC. It took like a day. I emailed them a screenshot of my Hilton Honors diamond status, and they gave me their top status based on that. So it's super easy to get top status. You might as well have it, you know. Even though the perks aren't as great as they are in some other cruise lines, it's still perks, right? If you asked a question and I missed it, please ask it again. Impressive. Oh, wait. Leonardo's wanting to know where I'm at. We're in Orlando, Florida, picking up more passengers. Today is a turnaround day. So we got off the ship, went through immigration, got right back on. We're headed to Nassau, Bahamas, and then MSC's private island, Ocean Cay, which is part of the Bahamas, but it's a private island. Any chair huggers on MSC right now? I mean, I haven't seen, if you don't know what a chair hugger is, it's like a person that basically puts something on a chair and tries to hold it all day. I haven't really seen that on here as much. I didn't really see it that much on Princess either. But yeah, I know someone in here wants me to speak Italian. My Italian used to be decent, but it's not. I haven't lived in Italy since 2000, so it's been 23 years since I've spoke Italian regularly, so it's not that great. So as much as I would love to answer your question in Italian, io capito un po' l'italiano. So you're not going to be able to get me to answer questions effectively in Italian. How many times have you arrived to Mexico since you started cruising? Multiple times. I mean, Cozumel and Costa Maya are both in Mexico, and I think I've went to each one of them 5 times. Although Costa Maya got canceled on here, so 4 times Costa Maya, 5 times Cozumel. So yeah, we're in Port Canaveral, not Orlando. You're right. Princess Elite got diamond on MSC. Very cool. Very cool. I am platinum on Princess, although when I try to order when I'm using the Princess app, sometimes Princess technology is great, but sometimes it's very buggy. And so I'm trying to order my medallion to be picked up on my cruise on Caribbean Princess, but it's still showing me as ruby when I try to order my medallion. And last time they got my medallion color wrong. And the reason I'm such a stickler, I really don't care. The reason I'm a stickler is platinum gets 50% off internet. And so I want to make sure when I walk on board that ship, they recognize me as platinum. And right now, if I order my medallion, it comes as ruby. Even though on the website it says I'm platinum right now, and their app says I'm platinum in my little profile, but when I go to order my medallion for my upcoming cruise on Caribbean Princess, it shows me as platinum. And when I get done with the Caribbean Princess, 28 days, I will be elite. And so when I go on Island Princess, I better have my elite because that's free laundry. So, yeah. So I'm a little bit frustrated with Princess right now with that because I want to order it and get it into books, but every time I try to order it, it says I'm still ruby, even though everything reflects that I am platinum. Been watching for years. Now I live in a Storyteller, very cool. For those that don't know, I used to live in a van, Winnebago Travado, but I got loaned a Storyteller by the company Storyteller for a little bit over a month, and I cruised around in a Storyteller, which was amazing. It's an amazing RV. Can you call someone to figure out the medallion things? I probably could, I don't know. If you've ever tried to deal with customer service over the phone on cruise ships, it ain't great on almost all the cruise lines. And so I don't know if I want to devote that much time to it. On board the ship, they can't help me out. Well, once I get on board the ship, I could have them help me out. But a lot of times their computer network will only reflect what I was originally, which is what happened last cruise. They did upgrade me to Ruby status. And that's just because I wanted the Ruby medallion because I would only be Ruby once and I wanted to get all the different colors. As I was progressing up the Princess medallion rank structure. And so I got the Ruby one on there, but it never reflected me as Ruby on board the cruise ship. It always had me as my previous status, even though Princess website reflected me as Ruby. I know, it's sorry to talk about this so much, but yeah. The only reason I'm really concerned about it is I get half off internet. I've never been on a cruise ship. What is the best one for a first timer? So Maxine, I don't have an answer for that because I've only been on 2 cruise lines. If you ask me to recommend a cruise line between MSC and Princess for a first timer, I would say personally Princess. Although I think the solo experience, like meeting solos, might be better on MSC. There's just been more solos at the solo meetups than were on Princess. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you want to do water slides all day, then I would say MSC. If you want a more classic cruise experience, you like going to trivia and stuff like that, I would say Princess. That's another complaint about MSC. A lot of their events are held at the pool, and the audience just isn't connected with the events. They're like swimming or sunbathing, and only some people are doing the trivia, some people, and so it's kind of weird. I wish they would put it in venues. They do it in venues for some of the stuff, but a lot of the stuff they put at the pool, the main pool, and the crowd isn't really connected to it very well, the event. Only a few people. It's kind of weird, actually. I did an MSC cruise on Bellissima. Whoop. Sorry. I did an MSC cruise on Bellissima in the Mediterranean, just pre-COVID, beautiful ship, great ports. Too big for me though, food wasn't the greatest, the coffee was delightful, yeah. I mean, MSC, this ship is beautiful, but it's beautiful like a casino. It's much darker decor, and there's not a lot of connection to the ocean if you're not topside. Where on, Princess ship, it's more elegant, it's brighter, it's a lot brighter everywhere, stay in your cabin and on the cruise ship. So it's a lot brighter. And MSC is more darker colors. It's kind of European. It reminds me of like Caesar's Palace or MGM Grand Hotel, if you've ever been to them in Vegas. It's more of that kind of vibe, which is nice. I mean, it's a good vibe. It's just different, and it's less connected to the ocean than other cruise ships because it's so massive. They have that center line P-way, that center line passageway. P-way is what we call them in the Navy, center line passageway, instead of 2 passageways on either side, which basically, connects you with the ocean, basically. There's also no promenade deck on deck 7 or 6 here, and I like outdoor promenade decks. The Sky Princess had one, but didn't go all the way around the ship, so I didn't like their promenade deck either. Ruby Princess has a promenade deck that you can walk around the entire ship. I like the smaller ships that have the big promenade decks because I like to not only do it topside, but also walk around the promenade deck. And this ship does not have a promenade deck. It does have an amazing track, probably the best track I've seen on a cruise ship. By far, actually, it's a great track. And so their topside spaces are great. Their pool area is great. All their topside spaces where I'm sitting right now is great. But as far as the, deck 5, 6, and 7, usually the hub of a cruise ship on the inside, they're more like a Vegas hotel. You're not really connected to the ocean. Kevin, have you used Cruise Critic? I haven't used Cruise Critic at all. People talk about it all the time. I probably should use it. I probably should use it. Any plans for smaller, more boutique style cruises? Yeah, I'm looking at some of them. I'm trying to experience multiple cruise lines right now, multiple ships. But at some point I'll branch out into those smaller ones, especially for the stuff like Galapagos, maybe Antarctica. I might go branch off into the more smaller, more specialized cruise places. I would like to try Azamara, the more higher end cruises. I talk about like trying to keep my costs over 100 a day, but that's not a hard, fast line for me. If I find great cruises with great destinations that are more expensive, I can afford them, and I'm going to do them. I'm not trying to live on $100 a day cruise budget. But when you compare apples to apples, I will try to go for the lower cost cruise if they're the same itinerary and very similar cruise lines. Kevin, can give you a 25 onboard referral. Yeah, if you go down in my thing with Princess, you can get $25 onboard credit if you use the link. They give me $25. Actually, I don't think it's onboard credit. I actually think it's $25 off your cruise. Because I did have one person do that, and it gave me $25 off my next cruise, not $25 onboard credit, which I actually appreciate, the $25 off my next cruise, more than the onboard credit, because sometimes I don't use all the onboard credit. But yeah, and also if Andrea's on here, and I owe her a huge debt of gratitude for introducing me to Rakuten, because you can get cash back on cruises. It's 1.5% on Princess right now, 2% on Celebrity. And if you use the link down below, I think they give you $30 or something like that. And they either send you a check or they send you the money on PayPal. I just get it on PayPal, but I know Andrea gets a check for hers. I'm curious, did you ever get the $30 for me signing up, Andrea? Curious about that. Any plans for river cruises? Yeah, my mom is, I'm trying to get my mom over to Europe to do a Christmas river cruise with me. And I'm also looking at other river cruises as well. I am looking forward to your Norway and Iceland cruise, headed there in June. That's awesome, Karen. I will be in those areas in June. I hop on board my ship like May 26th. So I will be in Iceland and Norway, the Norwegian fjord areas. I will be in those areas in June. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'm probably more excited about that cruise than any other cruise. Plus I'll be back on Princess. I'll be on Island Princess, which is an older ship, so I'm very curious to see if I like it. It's kind of got a different deck setup because it's geared towards doing more cold weather cruises. So like one of the pools is completely covered. So I'm very curious how that environment will be on Island Princess. Has anybody of you ever sailed Island Princess? Let's see. Andrea says no, she hasn't got my 30, maybe because I haven't spent anything yet with that, but I will be in the future for sure. Hey, someone's booked on Icon of the Seas. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's so expensive to book Icon, just like it's expensive to book Sun Princess. Are you worried about icebergs? Nah, I've sailed in that ocean before on Navy ships. The new ships, you don't want to make a proclamation like the Titanic did, but they're pretty careful, and it would take a lot to bring these massive beasts down. But yeah, I'm not worried about it. Plus, I'll be there in May and June, which is not prime iceberg time. Booked on Emerald of the Seas in July, says Tila. Awesome. I will be on Enchantment of the Seas, and I will also be on Symphony of the Seas out of Singapore when I do the Asian leg of my cruising. I'll be on Symphony of the Seas probably a lot, actually. If you have a question, make sure you ask it. I might have missed it. And if I did, I'm sorry. Let's see. Rakuten Canada doesn't give anything for cruises. That sucks. Do you have Mediterranean booked? I mean, I don't have any Mediterranean booked, but I'm booked up to England. So I have some Europe booked, but not. I don't have anything booked inside the Med yet, but I will for sure. Do you have any plans to try Virgin Cruises? Yeah, Virgin only has 2 cruise ships. A lot of people don't realize that. Soon to be 3. So it's actually hard to find a cruise on Virgin, but I will be definitely trying Virgin in the future. let's see. Where are your extended families? So most of my family lives in Missouri and Tennessee. My mother lives in Missouri. All my siblings live in Missouri. Lots of my aunts and uncles and grandfather live in Tennessee. How come no Hawaii? Oh, I'll be going to Hawaii, Andrea. I might even be on your cruise. We'll see. I don't book that far in advance, but I might be doing a cruise to Hawaii. We'll see. Karen Hicks is in the house. What's going on, Karen? Your mother would love a Christmas River cruise. We've done Viking and Amma Waterways. Which one did you like better? I've been looking at the Viking. Have you looked at celebrity expeditions? I have not, but they do pop up when I search Cruise Plum, and so I should probably start taking a better look. I am on a celebrity ship in September, headed over to Asia, but yeah. Are you going back to Thailand after? I will be in Thailand on my Asian cruise adventure. I've got to go renew my Thai driver's license, so I will be in Thailand. For those of you that have never joined me before, I'm cruising for a year straight. So. Are the rooms quiet or can you hear partying? I'm on the 10th deck and it's been very quiet. I haven't had any sound issues at all. Cruise out of Singapore, do you think services will be better? I don't know, Chris, probably. I mean, I would imagine cruises in Asia probably have a different level of customer service. But yeah. Emma Cruises did Azamara recently. Yeah, check out Emma. You guys know I love Emma. She was in the chat a little bit ago. I don't know if she's listening and editing or if she's moved on to take on the day. But yeah, Emma was in the chat a little earlier. Hi, shipmate. When you're shopping MSC, they seem to be less than others. Are your experiences? You get what you pay for? Yeah, I would say that. Plus, there's a lot of things on board MSC that cost money that might not cost money on other cruise ships. But I wouldn't say, and you don't get a lot of onboard credit like you do on other cruise ships. So, everything is full price. Like internet's pretty expensive on here. But yeah, I would say there's a reason it's a little bit more inexpensive. Not in a bad way though. I mean, it just depends on what kind of cruise experience you're looking for. It might be right for some people, it might be wrong for other people. It's definitely a different cruise experience than Princess, I'll tell you that. Amex has an offer, 35,000 points. If you spend 1,000, that's amazing. For celebrity. All right, I'm caught up on questions. If I missed your question, ask it again. I apologize for that. But I'm on my phone so that it moves super quickly. Hubby is turning 50. Very cool. I met Karen K. Staffen on a cruise ship I was on. Her and her husband, they're phenomenal people. They were basically living on Ruby Princess for a few months. So it was phenomenal. They're awesome people. Hey, Robert, thanks for the super chat. Ama la vida. Again, io capito un po' l'italiano. What decks do you think are the quiet? I mean, usually deck 7 is the heart of a cruise ship, and deck 14 or 15 is where the buffet is going to be. So if you can be somewhere in between those, I think those are good decks. You won't be over a nightclub or under the buffet. But I was on deck 14 my last Princess cruise, and I didn't have any noise issues. And I know for a fact the buffet was above me, and I never heard any noise issues. So, yeah. Andrew says, where have I been so far? Well, I've been traveling full time for 4 years, Andrew. So there's not a lot of, it's probably a shorter list of where I haven't been than where I have been. If you're talking about on cruise ships, where have I been? I've been living on nothing but cruise ships for the last month and a half, and I've been to all Caribbean, Western and Eastern Caribbean places. Not all of them, but I've been to mostly Eastern and Western Caribbean places. The traditional Caribbean spots: Cozumel, Costa Maya, Roatan. When I get on my next cruise ship, we'll be doing a lot of the saints: St. Martin, St. Thomas, all the saints, Aruba, Bonaire, all those places. We're going to Nassau and Ocean Cay. The reason I like MSC A lot of people don't like MSC. The reason I like
Ladies and
MSC,
gentlemen, we would like to inform you that the bunkering operation has been completed on the starboard side of the ship. Thank you for your cooperation.
sorry, they were announcing something. I don't know where I was going with that. Where was I going with that? Oh, places to get your stateroom. I would say between decks 9 and 13 if they have a 13. A lot of cruise ships don't have 13. They skip 13 because they're superstitious. I would say between those decks would be the smarter places to be. But I was on deck 14, like I said before, on Sky Princess, and the buffet was right above me, and I never noticed it. On turnaround day, are you restricted to a certain area of the ship? So usually what they'll do is they'll tell you to go somewhere at a certain time, and then they'll walk you off the ship. If you want to come back on the ship right away, they'll walk you off the ship, you'll go through immigration, and then you'll come right back on. On Princess Cruises, it's very efficient. On MSC, it was a cluster. But they eventually got it done, and I'm back on the ship. Let's see, where was I going with that? You can also leave the ship whenever you want when you're on a turnaround day, and you can go out in town and just come back and get back on the ship whenever they start normal boarding. You'll get to jump ahead of the line. They'll give you a little card that says you're back to back. But you can do it either way. You can just walk off the ship whenever you want, go hang out in Orlando or Port Canaveral where we are, and then come back when they start boarding the the new passengers, which is around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Or you can do the cruise ship embark procedure, and you can just go with them. They'll take you through immigration. Immigration is really quick. What decides how long it's going to take is how efficient the cruise ship is at getting passengers that are leaving off, and also their administrative setup of how they account for the people that are doing, getting right back on. MSC wasn't very good at it. Princess was very good at it. But it is what it is. I mean, it didn't ruin my day. I'm back on the ship doing a live stream. Okay. Question: does MSE do you have to muster in person or virtual, and also back to back? So MSC's muster is they have everyone watch a video at the same time on the ship, and they have everybody go down to their muster station at the same time. Well, not at the same time. They call you by group, but it was a cluster. On Princess, they have you watch the video whenever you want on your phone, and then it automatically shows that you watched the video. It updates it with the medallion net. That's why I love the medallion net so much. And then you go find your muster station, and you check into your muster station, and that's it. And you can go anytime you want before you're supposed to. So I like that. I prefer that method. But MSC does it their way. Princess does it their way. Those are the only comparisons I have, because those are the only cruise ships I've been on in the last, at the beginning. In that conversation behind you, how do you know which side of the ship on? Is it driving you crazy? I guess you can see it in my face. Yeah. I mean, that's, me. I was in the Navy for 20 years, so I know easily how to tell what side of the ship I'm on. Although sometimes in this ship, you're not really connected to the ocean, and sometimes it gets confusing what side it is. But right now we're on the aft side of the ship, so, that's forward. Left side is port, right side is starboard, so that's the easy way to tell which side of the ship you're on. So, did you talk about the food at MSC? I heard it's horrible. Nah, I don't think the food is horrible. I would say it is. The main dining room is as good as any main dining room I've been to. I would say the specialty restaurants are actually better than most of the ones I've been to. I think their taco place is great. I haven't been to their seafood restaurant yet, but I went to the taco place and sushi restaurant. They were both really good. The chocolate making place they have, their cappuccinos are the best I've ever had on a cruise ship. So I would say some things they do well. I would say the buffet is probably worse than most cruise ships you've been on if you've been on a bunch of cruise ships. It's not a whole lot of variety, and but I will say on the buffet, the pizza's phenomenal. So if you like pizza, like you're going to be more than happy on their buffet. Their buffet is huge, but it's not efficient compared to other cruise ships I've been on. So there's always lines. But I would say buffet-wise, their food is probably below the average for cruise ships. I would say specialty dining, it's probably above average. And main dining room, I'd say it's about equal to any other cruise ship I've been on. It's about the same. Steaks are good, food's good, pasta's good. I mean, they do pasta really well. It's an Italian cruise ship. Also in the buffet, they have a mozzarella day where they make fresh mozzarella di bufalo, and they put it out, and it's as good as any mozzarella di bufalo I had when I lived in Italy. It's phenomenal. So there's some things they do really well, some things that they don't do well. Like if you want a hamburger from the buffet, again, they wrap them up like they would at McDonald's, and they set them under hot lights, and the bread's gonna be stale as all get out when you get it. Just it is what it is. So that they don't do well. Any plans for an adult-only cruise? I mean, the only adult-only cruise line is Virgin. They don't allow kids. But I would say Princess is pretty much an adult-only cruise line. There's not a lot of kids on a Princess cruise. I was on it, the last cruise I was on, 3,000 people on Sky Princess, 3,600 people on Sky Princess. There's 14 kids on the whole cruise.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. This is Chris, your wonderful cruise director, speaking to you from the Market Buffet.
He's about to tell us to go
inform all of our guests that your staterooms are now ready and waiting for you. On behalf of the captain, myself, officers, staff and crew, thank you for choosing MSC Meraviglia, your new home away from home. And I can't wait to see you later at these shows. So once
Sorry,
again,
they're talking right now, so I have to wait.
All of our guests, that your staterooms are now
so
ready.
I'm not disturbing other
and
people.
they are waiting for you. Thank you.
So Maxine says MSC ran out of lettuce on my cruise. Yeah, I heard about that. They've run out of a couple things on this cruise. They ran out of white chocolate for the white chocolate mochas. That's their famous drink, and they don't have any white chocolate on board. Maybe they will now, since we pulled into port today. American port. I could tell by your face that you were annoyed by that. Yeah, it is what it is. Let's see.
Nothing here.
YouTuber D and J are on the ship with me. So you're saying Para DJ is on? You're telling me Para DJ is on MSC Meraviglia right now? That's good to know. I'll look out for them. I love their YouTube channel. They're great. They're much better at the. Vlogging style cruise videos. So if you like vlogging style cruise videos, go check out Para DJ. So that's cool. I didn't realize they were on MSC Meraviglia. Did you have the midnight buffet? I have not had the midnight buffet. I don't stay up that late, so I'll probably never do the midnight buffet. Does the food run out? No, on a cruise ship, there's no such thing as running out of food. There's always food. They just run out of certain items sometimes. Like my friend Andrea, who's in chat, when she was on Meraviglia, they ran out of lettuce. When you get off the sailing, give us a comparison between Princess and MSC. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll always talk about that. And then I'll be jumping on Royal Caribbean, Enchantment of the Seas. So, maybe I'll like Royal Caribbean better than Princess. Who knows? To be fair, Princess ran out of vanilla flavoring. There we go. For my vanilla latte, and also cranberry juice for my vodka and cranberry. Yeah, that's sacrilege to run out of cranberry juice on a cruise ship. I would imagine there's a lot of vodka and cranberry juices ordered on cruise ships. We haven't done the midnight buffet in 20 years. Sleep is much more important. Yeah, I get up too early. I get up between 4 and 5 in the morning, so staying up till midnight doesn't really happen a lot for me. All right, I'm caught up on questions. If you got any, throw them in the chat. We'll stick on here for just a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna go grab some food. I'm starving. I didn't eat breakfast this morning. just got on.
Once again, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chris, your cruise director. Once again, a friendly reminder that your staterooms are now ready. I'd like to inform all of our guests that please do not forget to link a credit card to your cruise card using the machines which are located on decks 5 and deck 6. And please remember to book your shows in the Broadway Theatre. These shows will sell out, so book early to avoid disappointment, and you can do that by using the touch screens around the ship. Once again, your staterooms are now ready and waiting for you. Welcome on board, and I'll see you around the ship. Thank you.
Yeah, so Maxine asked, did you go to Baltimore yet for the crab cakes? No, I fly to Baltimore after this cruise, so in 5 days. Fly to Baltimore, and I'll hop on Enchantment of the Seas out of Baltimore, and I'll be on that ship for 28 days, so we'll be going in and out of Baltimore. Retired Butcher Boy says, when you book inside cabin, do you book a guarantee or do you let it fly? So a lot of times when you go to book an inside cabin, the price to pick your cabin is the same as if you book a guaranteed cabin. And if that's the case, then I'll go pick a cabin. If not, I just let it fly. I used to live on aircraft carriers that were landing jets 24/7, and so noise on the ship doesn't bother me. And so, but if it's a concern for you, then I would definitely get a guaranteed cabin, or not a guaranteed, pick your room. But for me, if the guaranteed cabin is cheaper than picking an inside cabin, then I just get the guarantee. I let it fly, and to be honest with you, you have a better chance of getting an upgrade anyway, that way, or at least from my experience. How's the internet on Meraviglia? I would say the internet on Meraviglia is adequate. I wouldn't say it's the best internet I've ever had in my life. I was able to watch YouTube videos last night, so it's been good enough to watch YouTube videos. I would say it's definitely comparable to Princess. They're about the same. They don't have Starlink on here yet. Hopefully the Enchantment of the Seas, which I'm going on next, has Starlink, and we'll see how good that is. But on both the cruise ships I've been on, internet hasn't been the best, but it's been good enough to do, most of the stuff you would need to do. But internet on MSC is more expensive than internet on Princess, and you can't switch devices. Where on Princess you can switch devices on a one-device package. On here, they connect it to your device. So once you connect to internet on your phone, you can't switch it to your computer. So if you want it on multiple devices, you got to pay for multiple devices. Where on Princess, you can get it on one device, but you can switch devices instead of having to pay for multiple devices. So that was a little bit of a lesson learned for me on the internet here. And the internet's way more expensive on here than it is on Princess. Can you see how the vegetarian options are? So there are definitely vegetarian options on here. I've always heard that MSC had more vegetarian options than other cruise lines, but I think Sky Princess had more vegetarian options. There are some options. Obviously, if you go to a sushi restaurant, they're going to have the veggie sushi rolls or whatever. The taco place had vegetarian options. I'm sure there are vegetarian options on here. I've seen a lot of people from Indian descent on here. And normally there's an Indian food section in the buffet, and that's usually vegetarian as well. There's rice at every meal, things like that you can get that are vegetarian. So I would say there are vegetarian options on here. But I've heard that they have more vegetarian options on MSC, but I haven't noticed that. Para DJ says they'll have to find you. Tell them I'm on the aft deck above the pool where the bar is. On the same deck as the bowling alley, I think. How were the ports you visited this week? Oh, they were good. I lived in Cozumel for a little while, so I'm very familiar with Cozumel. I just went snorkeling there. Someone asked, how snorkeling was in Roatan. It was great. It was amazing. Roatan's beautiful, and they're on that, they're on that second largest reef in the world next to the Great Barrier Reef. Snorkeling was amazing. But my favorite place to snorkel on a Western Caribbean cruise, Eastern Caribbean cruise, is Cozumel. The snorkeling there is phenomenal. And so if you're really into snorkeling, Cozumel is a great place to go snorkeling. So much great snorkeling there. How often do I eat at the main dining room? Not very often. I like to eat when I want to eat, and MSC assigned you a dining time, which I hate that, because I don't know when I'm going to be hungry. I eat when I'm hungry. So, and it's a late dining time, so I've only eaten in the main dining room twice, and I don't know if I'm going to eat there again. I don't like when cruise ships assign dining times. I've seen I've been on cruise ships that don't assign it and they run efficiently. So I don't understand why they assign dining times. I hate that. To be honest with you. Did you find Sky Lounge on deck 17? Yeah, that's where the Solos meetup is, or at least it was the first night. Like 2 or 3 times it was up there. I really like that place. It's adults only, so if you're looking for an adults only spot, that's a great spot, and you don't have to pay for it. Like on Princess, you always have to pay for the sanctuary and stuff like that. But on Sky, you don't, or on MSC Meraviglia, you don't have to. It's a great area. Sometimes they have live entertainment there, which is great. I wish they had more live entertainment on board, like for longer periods of time. Their live entertainment is usually only for an hour, and then there's nobody that replaces them in the different venues they have. So it's like, there's no place to just go and listen to music for 3 or 4 hours and have a beer. It's usually like they're jumping around. Like they have this great pub here, and it would be awesome if they just had someone in there playing guitar, like, hire 2 or 3 musicians that rotate, sit in there, play guitar and sing Irish pub style music, Sweet Caroline and, Irish folk songs and stuff. But it's like, I would sit in that pub all day if they did that, but they don't. There's rarely a musician there, which shocks me, because they have the setup for it, and it's like a revenue miss for them, I think, to not have that. So funny you're both doing a live Q&A at the same time. Yeah, the other one's stealing all my viewers, Para DJ gets like 1,000 viewers per video, per live stream. Para DJ is coming to see you. Awesome! You guys probably cued them into me, because I don't think they know who I am, but I probably watch their YouTube videos as much as I do. Probably the ones I watch the most are probably Emma Cruises, Let's Go Travel Tips, and Para DJ are probably the 3 I watch the most. Emma, just because I've been watching her forever and she puts out great content. Obviously, she's really good at it. Para DJ, because they do like really good vlogs, which is really hard to do. I'm not good at it. And Travel Tips, because Let's Go Travel Tips, because they give great information about Princess cruises and other cruises. They give great tips. And then of course I like the daily news ones when I catch them. But as far as like for entertainment value, I really like Para DJ for vlogs on ships. They're phenomenal. You might have some surprise visitors. I don't see anybody. I'm kind of tucked away over here. They might not be able to find me. Kevin, your mic is catching laughing ladies. Yeah. All right, if I missed your question, throw it back out there again. I didn't intend to miss your question. Karen says maybe you guys can get together before the end of the cruise. Yeah, it'd be awesome. They're great. I mean, I absolutely love their channel. They probably don't realize how much I watch their channel. I think I do always comment, but I'm not really known in the cruise travel genre, you know, because I switch genres all the time. I'm really not known in that genre. I'm known in like the van life Thailand YouTube genre. I'm not really known in the cruise genre. Just coming again. Let's see. But how did you like your first week on MSC? I thought it was good. I think MSC is good. They have their problems. They have, you know, they get bad reviews on certain things for certain issues. Like this morning, we did the turnaround, walk on, walk off, and it was a cluster. I mean, it was a complete cluster. But once they got us on and off, it actually, you know, it was pretty efficient. But you would think they do this all the time, and it's little things like that. Customer service is not up to par with other cruise ships I've been on. But there is things they do better than other cruise ships I've been on. They do cappuccinos way better than any cruise ship I've ever been on. They do pizza really, really good. I would say Alfredo's pizza on Sky Princess is better. I know that's sacrilege to say, but the pizza here is still phenomenal. But it's just a little bit under Alfredo's, but it's better than any other cruise ship I've been on. DJ said it was a rough embarkation. Yeah, it was a rough turnaround. Like they just did not know what they were doing, and I felt sorry for the people that were having to do it because they obviously were set up for failure, and of course everyone's getting pissed off at them. But it was, yeah, it was not good. Especially since I've seen it done really efficiently, you know, and Princess does it really efficiently. And it's like, you know, there's a rhyme or reason for everything that you're doing, and you know what it is. You know, oh, I see Para DJ. Oh, come on. You guys don't know this, but I watch your channel so much.
Are you live still?
I'm
We
live.
told people from our live to come over.
I spend so much time on
Did
your...
anybody from our chat come over? These people are like, who are these idiots?
I was just telling them, you guys probably don't know me from Adam, but I watch your channel all the time. All the time. You guys have, I told them you're the best vloggers.
You're lying.
And you're, let me see how tall you are, because I know, I've read you guys are super tall. I read you guys are super tall.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You can't tell on the camera that you guys are like giants.
Right.
We are.
But,
We don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, I didn't know we were both live at the same time. We just ended ours. We're like, oh, go over and
oh, I feel bad. I feel bad about
No,
stepping
I
on
didn't
you.
realize that.
Yeah, I just did a, you know, I did back to back on here, so.
Yeah.
And you know, I couldn't do one underway, so I figured I'd do one import.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Well,
You having fun enough?
yeah, having a good time. Having a good time. Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Keep it from people. What?
Yeah.
People are tuning out right
Yeah.
now. So we're going to go pick up our handbags and find our cabin.
Awesome. I'll see you guys
We'll
around.
catch up with you.
Yeah, definitely.
You're on for another 4 and then you get off, or you got
Yeah, then I'm going to Enchantment of the Seas, actually, going up to Baltimore. So yeah.
Baltimore, nice.
She's here today. You can get a peek at her.
Oh, is she? Is she parked here? Oh yeah, that's right. They do Orlando. That's why someone was asking me if I was in Orlando on Enchantment today. I'm like, no, it's not. That's why someone was
It
asking.
looks like one of her lifeboats and it's just floating next to her. That's kind of what Enchantment
Looks like a little baby, little baby ship.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, it's awesome. Awesome meeting you guys. Yeah, very cool. That was very cool. Thank you, whoever sent them over. Very cool. We almost got 300 thumbs up. If you don't mind smashing it, I would appreciate that. And if you haven't watched their channel, they're phenomenal. They do the best cruise vlogs, like the daily experience. Like a lot of us don't do the daily experience on board because it's just hard to do. Emma has like the best informative videos, right? The best like breakdown of cruises she's done. But she'll tell you, I'll tell you, it's hard to do a vlog on a cruise or traveling in general. It's really hard, and it's a ton of editing work, tons of editing work. And so what they do is pretty phenomenal. They're like one of the only ones that do it well out there, and it's pretty phenomenal what they do. So if you like cruise content, you're always complaining that I don't do enough vlogs. Go watch their channel. Are you gonna hit on the ladies behind you? Man, you guys are out of control.
So did he like see sort of like it that he was recognized or?
They really are tall too, especially D. I knew he was going to be tall. He's not that much taller than me. He's probably 4 or 5 inches taller than me. But D is tall, man. And now you know why they always have problems with cruise ship showers, because actually on MSC the cruise ship showers are actually pretty tall. But on a lot of cruise ships they're not very tall, so you can see why they would have problems on with cruise ship showers. When are you going on MSC Seaside? I will be on Seaside, either Seaside or Seashore. I think it's Seaside. I will be on Seaside in, oh God, mid-May timeframe. I did actually get some info on Seaside that they blow out a bunch of black stuff on the deck. So I'm a little bit hesitant about that. Hey, if you haven't smashed that thumbs up button, we're 3 away from 300. I know there's 3 of you sitting in here that haven't. Someone asked me how tall I am. I'm 5'11". I think Jay is probably like 6'3", 6'4", and D is probably 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". What? Man, you guys give me the strangest questions. What's your beard maintenance routine? I have a beard trimmer, and once every, I don't know, 2, 3, probably once every month I trim it. It's looking mighty white right now. Just subscribe to your channel, add to my research page. Thanks, oh, I appreciate that. Oh, their channel, yeah, awesome. Are you reading a good book? So I'm actually going back and reading a bunch of the classics, and right now I'm reading 2 Years Before the Mass by Dana Henry, which is a true story about a guy who lived on a seal vessel. You know, the vessels where they go and get the seal pelts back in like the, I don't know, 1700s, 1600s. It's called 2 Years Before the Mast. It's a classic. I have Catcher in the Rye with me, so I'm going back and reading all the classics. But right now I'm rereading 2 Years Before the Mast. I haven't read it in 30 years, so it's been great. Do you think Nomadic backpack is worth 300? I think it's a phenomenal backpack. I would never tell someone a backpack's worth a certain amount. I would pay 300 for it. It's the best backpack I've ever owned. I love the way it stands up when I put it down on the ground. It's phenomenal. And so I personally like it a lot, and I think it's worth it. But I wouldn't tell someone else to spend that on a backpack. It depends on how much you travel. If you travel all the time, I'd say it's definitely worth it. Just got a super chat from David Remington. What's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Add into the coffee fund. Hey, them cappuccinos on here are expensive. Like, relative to other ships I've been on, they're pretty expensive. But they're also phenomenal. So, you know, I guess there's some give and take there. You're getting really good coffee, and so you're gonna have to pay for it. All right, if I missed your question, ask it again. Someone said I'm 2,000 subscribers from 100,000. Yeah, it should be less than that. You guys don't see the actual number, but I'm really probably only about 1,900 and something away. But that could, I mean, it took me a year to get 1,000 subscribers, so that could take 2 years. It goes up and down. Let's see. Christy says I have to say goodbye. Have a great Sunday. You too. I didn't get their channel name. It's Paro DJ. So P-A-R-O D-E-E-J-A-Y. Her name is D. His name is J. Paro has to do, I think it's Parrot, but I think it had to do with, he's a DJ. They're actually both phenomenal singers. Sometimes you'll see them do karaoke on their channel. They're both really good singers. And you'll hear them do, it had something to do with the music they were doing at the time. There it is, Paro DJ. That's their YouTube channel. But they're phenomenal. I watch them all the time. It's one of my favorite channels. I would say them, Emma, Let's Go Travel Tips, Ben and David. Ben and David do a good vlog too, actually. Ben and David do a really good vlog. Yeah. I had no idea they were on here though. I know they put out their cruise schedule, but I missed that we were on the same cruise ship. If you have a question, I missed it, please ask it again. My chat's moving at a lightning pace right now. You're doing the TA. You're doing the transatlantic. Somebody asked me. Andrew asked me if I'm doing the transatlantic. If you're saying I'm doing the transatlantic on Seashore, no. I'm doing the transatlantic on Island Princess. And it's a 33-day transatlantic. It's a long one. It's going to Iceland for a few days. It's going to Halifax, Iceland for 3 or 4 ports, and then Norway and Svalbard, which is the highest settlement of people above the Arctic Circle. It's going to Svalbard, and then, which I think is owned by Denmark, I think. And then it's going to all of these places in the Norwegian fjords on the top of Norway, above the Arctic Circle. Although I think all of Norway is above the Arctic Circle. But that's my transatlantic. That's how I'm getting to Europe. I know Seaside is doing a transatlantic at some point, but I won't be on that one. I think I'll be leaving them right before that. And I'm only doing 14 days on Seaside. I'm doing a 3-day and a 11-day cruise. I might be doing Yacht Club on the 3-day just to experience it, and it'll be cheap because it's only 3 days. But I might do Yacht Club on the 3-day. I'm debating with myself about it. Svalbard is Norway. Okay, there you go. How you packed? How many shirts, shorts, slacks? The good thing is I got a whole cruise packing video, and you can see exactly what I've packed. I pack a lot more than you think, even though I do carry on only. But I wear merino wool. My shirt's merino wool, and it's great travel material. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Works in every environment. You don't have to wash it as often. It's just a great travel material. So I have a lot of merino wool shirts. I have merino wool pants now, actually, that I'm trying out for Unbound Merino, the company that I have a contractual relationship with. I'm trying out their pants right now. They're phenomenal. I got the khaki and the gray ones, and they've been great. They're expensive as all get out, though. So I'm not going to recommend them because I would never spend $220 on a pair of pants in real life. But I'm really enjoying them. How do you feel about Yacht Club and the fact that you're not? You know what? I haven't even noticed Yacht Club on here, to be honest with you. I think I've seen one sign that says Yacht Club only. Although on the private island, I did see a Yacht Club area that I would have loved to have gone to. So I might do the 3-day. When I do that 3-day cruise, I might do Yacht Club and give it a whirl. It'll be great video, I think you get a butler, which I don't know. I wouldn't use a butler for anything, personally. But yeah. After 35 cruise, the worst one was still great. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, people have complaints about MSC, and I have some complaints about MSC, just like I have some complaints about Princess. But at the end of the day, you're cruising, and the only way a cruise is bad is if you make it bad. Anything that you think is wrong, you just avoid it. It's just a little bit of an annoyance, and you move on. I arrived late. How was the private island? The private island is phenomenal. I haven't been to all the cruise line private islands yet, and I'm going to Coco Cay soon. But I doubt that any of them will be as good as MSC, because MSC's private island is what I value. It's very private. You know what? I think I missed a super chat, didn't I? Did I miss a freaking super chat again? How am I missing all these super chats?
Hey, I know you. What are you doing?
Oh no, I didn't miss it. David's super chat, sorry. I thought another one showed up. Yeah, MSC's private island is phenomenal. I haven't been to the other ones yet. I've heard Harvest Cay is great. Harvest Key is great. I've heard Coco Cay is great, but that seems like it's more like an amusement park and geared towards kids. And MSC's private island is a nature sanctuary, and they can't build like water parks and crap like that on it. So it's more of like what you would think of in your mind as a private island experience. It's nice. It also has a bunch of places to eat that are included in your cruise fare, and it's pretty awesome. It's beautiful. The water's crystal clear. There's a bunch of places on the island where you can go and be by yourself and have privacy if you want. It's beautiful. It's great. If I missed your question, ask it again. It's going so fast right now. Lifewell Cruise is a very informative channel. Yeah, she's got a great channel too. She's up there in Canada too. She's got a great channel. Obviously, I like, Don's Family Vacation. I like him. There's so many. Chili Cruises is on here. I love Chili. Chili's actually, wait a second. Chili, you're in port right now, right next to me, aren't you? Because you're on Enchantment of the Seas right now, aren't you? So if you guys haven't watched Chili, make sure you go and subscribe to Chili as well. Chili does a lot of cruise content for people who have to travel with scooters and that are mobility challenged, and he does like reports on each ship to tell you if it's good for mobility challenged folks or it sucks. So yeah. The only ship I can see right now is Prima. Prima's right here over my shoulder. But yeah, I guess Enchantment of the Seas is here. I wish I would have known that, Chili. I would have got off the ship and come and saw you. I know you asked me this morning, am I on Enchantment? I was like, Chili knows I'm not on Enchantment. Or maybe you asked if I was in Orlando. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, Chili, I'm in Orlando. I didn't realize you were asking because Enchantment is in here. But Para DJ just came by and told me Enchantment of the Seas is in port right now. So.
Onboard payment. He must have.
Kevin Solo Cruising and More wants to say hello to you and us at your live today. What's going on, Solo Cruising and More? Nomad, Osprey, or Patagonia for bags. I love my Osprey bag. I still have it. I love it. It's great. It's a great bag, but it's 30 liter. And the reason I like the Nomad one better, for a couple different reasons. Number one, it's very low profile. And I can switch it from a 30 liter to a 20 liter if I want. And it also has a better bag for my laptop, a better area for my laptop. And also when you put it down, it stays standing up. The way they built it, it stays standing up. So I just like that part of it. Karen says, bye, have a fantastic cruise. Thanks for stopping by, Karen. Hopefully we can cruise together again, me, you, and your husband. I miss you guys. I miss Ruby Princess. Let's see. Sorry, the chat's just going a million miles a minute. If you need to ask another question, or if I missed your question, ask it again. Kevin, you may need a little meetup while you're there. Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of people on. There's usually not a lot of people on cruise ships that have watched my channel because my channel doesn't have a whole lot of cruising stuff. I know Emma cruises. When she goes on a cruise ship, she gets recognized every 5 seconds, and I'm not looking. I don't know if I'll ever be that big. To be honest with you, I'm not really looking forward to that. Again, if I missed your question, ask it again. I am all caught up. I just got my low battery indicator, so I got 20% left. We'll go just a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna go grab some food, but I'll stick around a little bit longer, answer some questions if you have them. And I missed it. It's not because I don't like you. It's because the chat moves so quick on the phone, and you can't go back on the phone. It's really weird the way that the chat function works on this. Let's see, I found you on Sky, no problem. Yeah, Andrea found me on Sky, but you found me because of a Facebook page. Like most people, when they find me on a cruise ship, it's because I'm on the Facebook page of that cruise ship or that cruise line. It's not because they found me on my YouTube channel. They found me on a Facebook page, and I'm pretty sure, Andrea, you found me on a Facebook page, the Sky Princess's Facebook page. You enjoy Cozumel snorkeling. Which beach has the best snorkeling? Oh my God, I don't know the name of the beaches, and I should because I lived there for a little bit. There's one that's on the opposite side of the Old Town, directly across. On the other side, that would be the Caribbean side, not the Mexico side, right? The Caribbean Sea side, not the little inlet where Mexico is, you know? But yeah. Do you have a most anticipated port? I would say Svalbard, which is the highest which is an island way above the Arctic Circle. Like when we think of the Arctic Circle in Alaska, we go, oh, that's pretty high. Svalbard is way above the top part of Alaska. It's so high up above the Arctic Circle. So I'm super excited about going to Svalbard. Oh, solo cruising is, I don't know if I've watched solo cruising before. I don't know if I've watched them before. I need to check. A lot of times I don't know the names, so maybe I've watched them before. They're on board too? Sounds like there's a lot of cruisers on board, or a lot of YouTubers on board. Let's see. If you have a most anticipated port, oh, I answered that, Svalbard. As a naval officer, I wasn't a naval officer. I was a Navy Command Master Chief. I wasn't an officer. I was a Command Master Chief. How do you feel about Steven Seagal's performance in the movie Under Siege? So Steven Seagal was a chief on Under Siege. So I was a Master Chief. He was a chief, right? E7, E8 is the senior chief. E9 is a Master Chief. I was a Master Chief. It was a little bit far-fetched, to be honest with you. And you know, a chief would never have his hair that long, as Steven Seagal did. So it wasn't a good. It was good. It was a good movie for what it was, but realistically, no. You're not going to find too many Navy SEALs on ships. For what he did that got him kicked out of the Navy SEALs would have got him kicked out of the Navy, period. So he wouldn't have been on the ship as a cook. They don't, yeah. Please turn around and tell that. You're mean. Don't be mean. Don't be mean. Let's see. When I'm in Belize in April, the enchantment will be in port on the same day. Very cool. Very cool. I'm looking forward to Belize. It should be awesome. It should be awesome. I'm a very new channel, says Solo Cruise. Actually, I think we have talked. I don't know if I can subscribe to your channel. No, I can't. I think I've seen your channel before. No, I know, but yeah, if you want to come up here and say hi and get on camera, stop on up here, and we'll try to get you some more subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to Solo Cruising and More, there's not a whole lot of channels out there that focus on solo cruising. Actually, there's hardly any. I feel like I'm like one of the only ones that focus on solo cruising, and so it sounds like she is focused on solo cruising, so that is good. And it looks like it's from a female perspective, so that'll be even better. I get questions all the time from females who want to solo cruise, asking me about like safety and all that kind of things, and I can only give it from my perspective. I think cruising is super safe, for male or female, but I mean, there's other things to consider. So there you go. Oh, there we go. I would click on it, but then it'll shut me out of this thing. I might be subscribed to you already though. Any kind of solo content. Yeah, Gary has a lot of solo cruising content, but the thing about Gary is Gary likes upscale cruising, and so Gary's demographic is like, it's solo cruising, but it's like solo cruising at like $250 a night, solo cruising, where I'm solo cruising at like $100 a night, you know, I'm trying $100 to $150 a night, where Gary is solo cruising at $200, $250, $300, $400 a night, right? He's going on Azamara. He does go on some other, you know, cruise lines like I do, like Princess, but Princess Cruises is a lot more expensive in Europe than it is in the United States, like way more expensive. To me, Princess is a budget cruise line in the United States. In Europe, not so much. Like MSC and Princess in the Caribbean are very similar in prices. You guys are funny. All right, if you have any questions, throw them out there. I'm all caught up as far as like the chats go. Heading to Kuala Lumpur, I know you're a fan. Any tips or suggestions? So in Kuala Lumpur, eat nasi lemak till your face falls off. It's my favorite dish in Malaysia. Kuala Lumpur has some of the best nasi lemak. Eat as much nasi lemak as you can possibly eat. Try the durian. I hate durian, but you might love durian. Some people love it. I hate it. It's disgusting. But some people love durian, so you got to try durian when you're in Malaysia. What else about KL? Obviously, go down to KLCC, which is like the park area around the Petronas Towers. The Petronas Towers used to be the tallest buildings in the world before Dubai built that super tall building, which is almost double the Petronas Towers now. But it used to be the tallest building in the world. And it's really cool, that area down there, the KLCC area. It's a very cool area. Malaysia's just great. It's just a great place to live. I love spending time there. And they give you a 90-day visa as an American Canadian. They give you 90 days tourist visa, which is great. But it is, someone just said Malaysia is hellishly hot, and it is hellishly hot. It is hot there, hot and humid. It's like the Everglades in Florida in August, but almost year round. I have a video about Kuala Lumpur, actually. Go back into my old videos. You'll see like things not to do in Malaysia. Some of them are pretty funny. One of them is leave your hotel room without an umbrella, because Malaysia, like, you've never seen rain. Like, I don't care where you've been in the world, you've never seen rain like the torrential downpours that happen in Malaysia. And if you don't have an umbrella, you will be soaked in a half a second, the second that rain starts. I mean, it comes down like a shotgun. I'm in New York where it's frozen over. I'll take hot. Thank you for the suggestions. I'm glad you're making content after your well-deserved break. Yeah, I appreciate that. I haven't seen all your videos from way back. What is behind your YouTube name? So I was in the military for 20 years, a little bit over 20 years. And when you do a military deployment, you have a countdown. Are you? Oh yeah, come on, jump in here.
Hi.
Hello, nice to meet you.
I saw you earlier and
Nice to meet
I wanted
you.
to come over,
Here,
but I said,
jump
no,
on.
I'm not going to come over.
Hi, say hi.
Carol with Solo Cruising and More.
What's your
First one.
YouTube channel about?
It's Solo Cruising and
Solo.
More.
There you go. Solo.
That's what it is. Just
So
Solo
and there,
Cruising and More.
like I mentioned earlier, there aren't a lot of YouTube channels that do
Very-
solo cruising.
Very new channel.
So she better at least have 184 more subscribers. Since y'all are sitting in here not doing anything, you better
Hit the
go.
like button. No, on this one. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Okay.
It's so nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice
Did
to
you
meet
did you meet
you.
Pero DJ yet?
No, I
Have
didn't
you-
know
have
they
you ever-
were here.
Do you watch them?
Yeah, I watched them.
Yeah,
I've
they're
been
one of my
watching them for a
favorites.
long time.
Yeah, they're running around here. They're
Oh,
like
they're running around
they're
here?
giants. They're like
Oh, they're
they're
tall.
both like 6'5".
Okay, I didn't know because I couldn't tell.
Yeah, they're super.
They're
You
super tall.
you won't miss them.
So I'll notice them. Okay, well,
Yeah,
nice to meet
yeah,
you.
nice to
Thank
meet
you
you.
for inviting me
Thanks for
over.
coming up.
See, okay, now there is a meet and greet at 3:45 in the Horizons Lounge.
Okay.
At the very
For solos?
back. For everybody.
For
There's
ev-
a lot. There's gonna be solos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
very
there
cool.
is a solo somewhere.
What is that? What is that meeting for? What is the 3:45 for?
It's just, the Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
The Facebook group.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll go
we're gonna
there.
do like a gift exchange.
Okay, a
Yeah,
gift
yeah.
exchange.
Yeah,
I don't
we're
have
doing
anything.
A shot glass. We're doing shot glass and crazy socks.
I don't have
So bring
anything.
some old socks.
Oh my God. Okay.
Bring some old socks. Get a
Okay.
shot glass.
Someone's gonna want my old socks.
No, just come because you're a celebrity. We want to see
No, I'm
you.
not a celebrity.
Yeah,
No.
Ah, it was nice to meet
Pair of DJs is a celebrity.
you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, they usually are. Did you look at
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, make sure. Let's get her at least 100 subs from that. So go over to her channel. Give her a subscribe. Starting a new YouTube channel, it's tough in the beginning, especially attracting an audience that's in your genre. It's pretty tough. I mean, it took me a year to get to 1,000 subscribers. It took me 2 years to get to 10,000. So, yeah. Let's see.
MSC is not good about
consistent?
Let's see.
a lot of them. You have to ask them.
You gotta ask him to do one? Okay.
Please don't do. I do have these socks that I haven't worn yet that have owls on them. So if you don't know about Para DJ, one of the famous things Para DJ does is every video he shows what socks he's wearing because he always wears wacky socks. And so I bought some wacky socks to steal a little bit of their mojo. And so maybe I'll bring those. The only people who would want Kevin's old socks would want them way too much. I do have some weird fans. I do have some weird fans out there that have asked for some pretty sketchy stuff.
Well,
And just so you know, those people get blocked. Foot fetish info in the next. You never finished the story behind your name. Okay, yeah. So I was in the military for 20 years. And when you go on a military deployment, you have a countdown to when you return home to family. So if you have 180 days, you'll say I have 179 days and a wake up. My first year of cruising, I lived in a different country every 30 days. So every 30 days, I would wake up somewhere new. So that's the genesis behind the name. I know it doesn't make much sense now, and I've actually thought about changing it. And when I've said that, people on my channel said, "Don't change your name." But I do oftentimes get one of those mean comments. One of the common mean comments I get is, "Dude, you look terrible for 30." And it has nothing to do with my age. I'm 47, closing in on 48. But I get that comment a lot. "Dude, you look terrible for 30." Or I get, "Did you serve in prison?" Because I guess prisoners do the same countdown with how much time they have left. And so, sometimes I'll get, "Dude, you look haggard for 30." And sometimes I'll get, "What crime did you commit that made you know this countdown?" So, but the genesis of it is, military, the way military count down deployments, and the way I was traveling, which was living in a different country every 30 days. So 30 days and a wake up. Oh man, they're cooking pizza right now. I smell it. It smells good. I wish we had smell-o-vision. So that's one thing MSC gets right. Their pizza is phenomenal. And they make pesto pizza, which I love. They make pesto mozzarella pizza. Molte bueno. Molte bueno. Yeah, if you're into romance novels, Melanie, for you guys that don't know, Melanie is on here. She's a famous New York Times best-selling romance novelist. That's the kind of people we attract here at 30 and Wake Up. New York Times bestsellers. And big giant YouTube channels. And that's how we roll. But yeah, that's the. Do people mistakenly recognize you as Patrick Stewart? That's the first time I've heard that. I can see that for sure, especially with the beard going gray. What I get all the time, and I've even got it on this ship because there's a bunch of Europeans, that I look like the coach of Manchester City football team in England named Pep Guardiola. For whatever reason, I get it all the time. We both wear black shirts a lot. I think that's part of it, especially when I get tan. But yeah, I get Pep Guardiola. I haven't got Patrick Stewart yet, but I'll take that as a compliment. I love, Captain Picard. I just got a warning about a battery. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this live stream. I'm gonna go get myself some food and enjoy this cruise. We're probably, we'll pull out probably in 2 hours. I'm gonna go see if I can see Chili from Chili's Cruises over on. I'm gonna go see if I can see him across the way. But yeah, Kevin, have you ever thought about becoming a Disney vlogger? I love Disney, and I did a vlog from Disney's campground. But YouTube has tons of rules about like kids in videos, and like I think being at Disney would be problematic. I probably will do some Disney cruises because I just love Star Wars, and I grew up with Disney. I love Disney, but Disney cruises are expensive. they're like $250 a night for inside cabin, So, but I think I will for the experience factor. But yeah. It's great seeing everybody. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for anybody who became a new channel member and I missed it like I always do. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out on YouTube with me. Is Chessman still on the cruise? I think so. All right, everyone, take care and enjoy your day.